All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Chang Gang podcast. This is episode 58 featuring Corbin, aka QQobes33. What is up? How's it going?
I'm doing well. How are you tonight?
I am thrilled, excited, doing really good. Happy Friday, by the way, to you and everyone.
Happy Friday to you too. I've been really looking forward to this podcast. Like, I'm not gonna lie, all this week I've been like, I'm ready for this Wilson podcast because I just started getting to know you a little bit, like just from watching your streams and stuff. But I don't think me and you ever had a like legit full-on conversation between each other. So I think this is gonna be really cool.
Heck yeah, I really appreciate the fact that you're dedicating time to this. So thank you once again. Thank you to everyone for being here. On the top right, you can see the panel. On the bottom right, you can see both of our Instagram handles. Feel free to drop a follow if you haven't already. Also note that there are 2 commands for every one of these podcasts. The first one is !podcast. In short, it's a summary of why I do this. It's for me to get to know my Twitch friends on a more personal level, to allow them to have a platform to talk about their life experiences, right? So there's that. And then the second one is !guest, which is a direct link to Cobe's Twitch channel. So drop him a follow because he is also a fellow Twitch streamer. Really cool. Okay.
Sweet. Thank you so much.
Without further ado, let's get started. You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. Thanks, chat, once again for being here. Let's get to it. All right. Start us off with a brief introduction about yourself and include some of your hobbies and interests.
Okay, cool. So my name is QQobes33. Or aka Corbin, first name's Corbin, whatever you want to call me is cool. My chat doesn't know how to pronounce my name, so they call me QQobes. They call me QQobes. They call me Q because they can't even pronounce my name. But that's all good. We're all good there. I like playing a bunch of different video games. First off, I play FPS games like Valorant, like Escape from Tarkov, like Overwatch, Apex, etc. You name it. But I also like the RPGs like Lost Ark, etc. So play a lot of games, like to have fun. But at the end of the day, yeah, I'm a big sports fan. I think that was the first thing me and you connected on, Wilson, was sports, actually. I'm a huge sports fan, whether it be basketball, football. Heck, I'm even getting into soccer. So I do a lot of that type of stuff in my free time. And aside from that, yeah, just like vibing with the homies, meeting new people 24/7. And that's what Twitch is all about, I guess. It's giving me a good platform to meet new people.
Yeah. Awesome overview. Thank you for that.
No problem.
So, how would you describe your own personality?
I'm goofy. I'm just straight up goofy. Sometimes I even, it's like I put my foot in my mouth. Sometimes I'm like, well, shouldn't have said that one. But at the end of the day, I'm goofy. I like to keep things light generally. But at the same time, if anyone asks me a serious question, I'm going to answer it in a very serious tone as well. I would like to think I'm more so of a people's person. But that being said, I also have how do I say this? I'm not antisocial per se, but I definitely, since I'm an only child, I grew up an only child and everything, I can be like quiet and reserved and to myself. But then there's also other times where I kind of liken like when I'm streaming and stuff to like party cobes. Like you got party cobes on one hand, and then that's like my streamer self. And then you have like more reserved, chill stuff at home, etc. So I have a little bit of both, but I'm goofy as hell, man. I'm goofy as hell.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so speaking of that, like being reserved, like a mix. So on a scale of being like an introvert versus an extrovert, where would you lean towards in your personal opinion?
In my personal opinion, I would probably be I would probably be like a 6 or a 7 on a scale of 1 to 10, leaning towards extrovert. But in my quiet times, I really like to be quiet. That being said, like for the most part, I'm usually more outspoken, more extrovert, more out there. That's generally how I am. Yeah, I like being surrounded by people generally.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that you're an only child, right?
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay, so from here on, we're gonna talk about like the very beginnings of your life. We're gonna go back there. Okay, so first off, give us an overview of what you went through as a child, and let's say you could stop at the end of high school. So from when you were born, and then I'll ask you specific questions.
Okay. So I lived in a very American household, even though I'm half Japanese, half Chinese. I'm gonna get to the Korean part later, but basically I'm half Chinese, half Japanese. Um, I lived in a very Americanized Asian American household.
Mhm.
What that basically means is I didn't eat any Chinese food. It was all like steak, potatoes,
Oh.
vegetables, etc. The Asian language has died long ago on both sides of my family.
Mhm.
The Japanese side, like I'm fourth generation here. Chinese side, a little bit more recent, but that being said, no one speaks Cantonese. I learned I was Cantonese like in college, so
Oh.
I the I'm as whitewashed as it gets.
Mhm.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
So growing up, my life was focused around two things: academics and athletics.
Mhm.
I played basketball ever since I was 4 years old. I played competitively in multiple leagues ever since I was four. My dad was the coach. And then when I would get home, I would be yelled at to study by my mother. And because my mother is by trade is a teacher,
Uh-huh.
and my father, well, he's just, I mean, my father is an air conditioning guy, but he really just loves basketball.
Mhm.
So I would pretty much get like that push pull effect between teaching and between learning, education, and then basketball slash athletics. So I grew up that way. I was a really good kid when I was young. I was a really good kid. I was a mama's boy, to be honest. Let's be honest here. Was a
Mhm.
mama's boy completely. Only child. Uh, I always, the one thing that my parents always pounded into me was to not be the typical only child where you're selfish, you're stubborn, etc. You want to always know how to share. And I've been very lucky and blessed to, at a very young age, have met the group of people that are around me even to this day. A
Mhm.
lot of my friends in my life back when I was 4 and 5 years old, they stayed with me from elementary school to middle school to high school to college and beyond. They're still in my life to this day, and there's like 12 of us
Oh.
that from step A to now. It's crazy. And then like, people are getting married. You have like, their parents coming over, etc., to the weddings, and everyone inviting their family, because it was just one of those things where I grew up with a great support system around me. Um, Having said that, though, once I hit middle school, my mom told me this angel turned to a demon. I was an awful kid from sixth grade to, I want to say, my freshman year of high school, because that's when I started liking girls.
Oh.
And that was, let me tell you, girls brought a whole different aspect to my life. Like, for real. Like, my phone bill started getting out of control. People were calling my house nonstop. I was not doing homework. There was just this, that, and the other. Like, I would be literally in my games. My dad used to tell me I would at like literally when people were shooting free throws, I'd be talking to some girls in the stands. Like, I literally just, I couldn't deal with the fact that I was like, oh my god, I'm obsessed with women now. Like, what's going on? So a lot of that was like the fighting in the household for the most part. It's like,
Mhm.
do your homework. Okay, Corbin, I got a call from your teacher. You have 13 missed assignments in your English class. What is going on? I'm sorry, I'm talking too long on the phone late at night. So it was one of those things where that was my years where I think I grew up a little bit, and I really made a lot of mistakes. Then came high school, where really sports, just basketball especially, because I'm a big basketball player. Basketball really took over my life. I basically played every single day on the weekdays, and I had through 2 to 3 games every day on the weekends for like four different teams.
Oh.
Um, Played a lot of basketball. I guess my crowning one of my crowning achievements for basketball. Well, I was sponsored by And One,
Oh.
the clothing
Wow.
brand. Yeah, And
Mhm.
One, our team. All they gave us was free jerseys. That's all we gave us. It was nothing too special, but at least we got like free jerseys, free pants, etc. Free shoes, even though the shoes suck. Sorry, And One, they do suck. But and then yeah, coming into high school, it was just it was a great time for me. I think I really grew up a lot, even though I'm young for my grade per se. I really grew up a lot, and I think I became myself. I began to understand what I really like, and the things I really liked was gaming.
Hmm.
Well, girls, of course, gaming and basketball. Those are the three things. And we would have LANs all the time at each other's houses. We'd be playing like StarCraft, etc., all the time. It was, and Counter Strike. Counter Strike was a big one for us. Yeah. Counter Strike. So we'd be doing that, and then after that, I would go right into basketball practice or right into basketball games, then go back afterwards to like study, and then rinse and repeat day after day. And it got to the point though where my senior year, I actually was able to try. At least I got recruited to Division Two, not Division One, because I wasn't good enough, but Division Two basketball schools. For yeah, and that was really special for me, just getting calls from coaches, meeting different coaches, and talking about what the potential for basketball would be moving forward for me into college. But I actually came away from that not playing basketball in college because I saw how regimented the schedule was, as far as like you gotta practice, you gotta weightlift, you gotta practice again, you have study hour from like this time to this time, you're going to sleep, rinse, and repeat. I didn't like how regimented and segmented that was, so I actually decided to forego my basketball career, at least moving it forward into college. But yeah, that's basically my life right there. Oh, and SAT prep, I was in there for like 4 years, and that was bad. Yeah, I was like one of those kids where like there was a bed in the back room. Like I was literally going to the back room over and over again, just SAT prepping, boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right. That was a great overview. Thank you for that. So talking more specifically about your childhood before we talk about like basketball and school. So I saw on your page that you're from LA. Have you always lived in SoCal?
Born and raised. Yeah. Born
Got
and
it.
raised. It's been a I've only moved to 2 different houses, and my entire family is also located. Both sides are also located within 30 minutes driving.
Wow.
So we're all here. So there's no chance of like relatives beyond. If so, we don't know about them. So everyone is within like 30 minutes away. So yeah, I'm SoCal born and raised.
That's awesome.
Forevermore. Yeah.
So how would you describe like the diversity and the city itself, LA, since you've been there your whole life?
The diversity is obvious. I'm sure you've heard this from other people. LA is an extremely diverse area, and none more special that diversity shines than in the food. I think one thing that people don't understand is like I've traveled to like places like Italy, etc., and the food though in LA is so good, and it's so close to the food in like Italy or in Japan or etc.
Yeah.
It's just a melting pot of cultures and a melting pot of food, and I'm a big foodie. So it's been one of those things for me that like LA really gave me a nice, well-rounded view of the world. And even though I grew up, my school was pretty much 80% Asian, 80% Asian, 15% Caucasian, white, and then 5% other. And really, like the other was like 4% Indian. So it was one of those things that like for me, my early years were all surrounded by Asians, but then once I got into college, I went to Loyola Marymount University, which is pretty much 80% white. And I think that really opened me up to everyone else, all the different cultures, etc. It's been really cool. And basketball, of course, opened me up a lot to that too, because I have some very interesting stories when it comes to basketball that I learned. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the background in diversity. So more about your family. You briefly mentioned what your relationship was like with your parents from before. How would you describe the disciplinary style, since you were like in an Americanized family?
The disciplinary style.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so So my mom was the main disciplinarian in the household. My dad would only get mad when I did poorly in basketball. To be honest with you,
Okay.
my mom was the bad guy. My dad really only cared about how I did in athletics. Obviously, he cared about the rest too, but it was really my mom who was a disciplinarian. Uh, I've seen my fair share of bamboo sticks, but it was only like a couple of times. It wasn't crazy. Did I deserve it? Heck yes.
Mhm.
Did I have 13 missed assignments multiple times? Heck yes. Did I try to forge my mom's signature way back when? Heck yes. Like it was one of those things where I was a bad kid back then. I was, and I deserved every bit of it, and it always shaped me for who I am today. When I see the bamboo stick and I
Yeah.
still see it, it brings back memories.
Trauma.
Memories for sure. Yeah. Little trauma, but it really I deserved it. I'll be honest with you, I deserved it. I was a bad kid. I was a
Mhm.
bad kid back then. But
Gotcha.
yeah, my dad, if anything, when my dad would use his harsh voice, that's when I knew. I was like, uh-oh. Like I'm in some serious shit right here. So, oh wait, can I cuss? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you can, you
Okay,
can.
okay,
You're
okay,
fine,
okay,
you're
okay.
fine.
I'm in some serious stuff right here. And I was just like, oh, okay. So I kind of understood that the dynamic a little bit more. My mom was more day to day, like on my butt, and my dad was more like for the big stuff, like, hey, you seriously screwed up here. So
Mhm.
that was the dynamic between my family.
Gotcha. And finishing off the topic about your childhood specifically, what were your overall thoughts about being like a only child? Because you mentioned that you have lifelong friends, right? But aside from that, like, have you ever considered like what would life be like with a brother or sister?
Okay, I personally love it. I love being the only child. I love being the center of attention in my family.
Hmm.
Um, it was one of those things where I never, even though I learned how to share, I never had to share really like food, etc. I never
Hmm.
had to share with anybody. The one time where it really sucked to be an only child was when you would go on like trips or like small vacations or whatever, because you wouldn't have anyone to bounce off with. You would just be
Yeah.
forced to talk to your mom and dad over and over again. So like that was something where phones were obviously really nice where you could call your friends, etc. But you wish you had somewhat like a partner in crime almost. You could be like, hey, like, we're talking, we're vibing, I'm learning about things, or like someone to just run certain like super close to the vest type ideas off of. Like
Hmm.
I never really had that aspect, so that in a sense that kind of made me wish that I had like a brother or sister. But at the same time, I was really happy and I was really thankful to be an only child because I got a lot of attention from my parents, and I was really grateful for that.
Yeah. All right. Transitioning back to academics, you mentioned that that was one of your focuses. You had a slump between grades 6 to 8. How would you describe your like overall grades then throughout the end of even college too?
My grades were, I was an okay student.
Hmm.
I'm not gonna say I was the best student. I was an okay student because I focused a lot of my time in gaming and in basketball and in talking to girls as well. I was never a great student. I got about, I think my GPA in high school was a 3.4, 3.5, 3.5, 3.5. It was a 3.5 GPA in high school. My SAT scores were really high because I went to SAT prep for
Yeah.
4 years. Like, yeah. But it was one of those things that, yeah, my grades were actually not the best. They
Hmm.
were okay. College was pretty much the same. College, I was a little bit lower, like a 3.2, I want to say. When I graduated college, it was just business finance was really hard. Business
Uh,
finance was really, really hard. And I realized that actually, from college, business finance wasn't the way I wanted to take my professional career moving forward. So it was from that, but I did need to graduate because holy crap, like my parents are paying so much money. Like I need to graduate at some point so they don't have to
mhm.
pay anymore. But it was one of I wasn't the best student for sure, but I would consider myself a very well-rounded student. Like I did student government. I was a Boy Scout, not an Eagle Scout because I I don't have the discipline for that. But I was a Boy Scout, like very, very well-rounded, but definitely not the best student.
Okay, gotcha. So aside from basketball, were you involved in any other sports during
Oh yeah.
your high school years and even other clubs or activities?
Yeah, so I was a pitcher for baseball.
Okay.
But that was relatively short-lived. I stopped at 8th grade. I was quarterback for football. That stopped at 9th grade. Because once it's all fun when you're playing flag football, but then when you start getting tackled without gear,
Yeah.
it gets to be a problem. So yeah, that was something I was like, yeah, I'm good with not being tackled anymore. I did volleyball for all my entire freshman to senior career. I did do volleyball. I did basketball, obviously, from the day I was born, basically.
Yeah.
And I also did some golf, but I was really bad at golf. I was never good at golf. Really bad at golf.
Okay, those are the sports. Any other like curricular activities?
Oh yeah, extracurriculars was so I was in Boy Scouts. I was in Boy Scouts for like 4 years. I was in student government for 3 years. And let's see, what else was it? That's about it, actually. Those are the main two that I was in. Yeah.
So what were the biggest takeaways from being a part of student government and the Boy Scouts?
Well, student government is actually so I used to have a fear of public speaking.
Yeah.
But what happened was my freshman year of high school, I actually ended up, Shaggy's song, It Wasn't Me?
Yes.
Yeah, I basically changed the lyrics of that song, and I'm not a good singer, and I basically made it about that was my speech, and I sang in front of the entire school. And once I did that, I lost my fear of public speech, literally from that. So I learned so much. I worked really, 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 really hard on it. And, I was social chair for basically 3 years. So what that basically means, it's like I planned a lot of the events, a lot of the big events. I actually ended up planning our prom.
Wow.
My junior year, I planned it for the seniors. And I actually talked to MTV at the time. They were doing like a date a celebrity or take this celebrity to like your prom night or whatnot. And we actually worked with MTV on that. And that was like one of the coolest experiences of my life, working with MTV on bringing the celebrity over to our prom. And yeah. Oh, one funny thing.
Yeah.
I brought out the prom queen's little tiara, and I dropped it on the ground before I gave it to the prom queen. Yeah. So that happened. Yes. Ooh. Yes, and that was in front of the MTV cameras. So yes, the MTV did pick up on that. They did show that. So that did happen. That was really unfortunate, but at the end of the day, you know what? Pick it up and move on.
Yeah. So you said they would bring a celebrity. Who was the celebrity?
Okay, so it was a B-list celebrity. It wasn't an A-lister. Okay. There used to be a guy who would hold the umbrella for another celebrity. Do you know who I'm talking about? He holds an umbrella. He was like, oh God, I don't remember his name, but he was like a dancer as well. It was for a rapper. He would hold his umbrella for his rapper, and he became a celebrity himself. And he was the one who came. I don't remember his name off the top of my head. I think I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it wasn't like an A-list celebrity or anything like that. It was definitely a B-lister, so it wasn't great.
Still pretty cool that you were involved with MTV.
Oh yeah, you learn at an early age that MTV, all the stuff that they had on there was like really fake and rehearsed. Like everything, like Date My Mom. I also like tried out for Date My Mom back in the day. Have you heard of that?
I haven't personally.
Okay, so basically you date like 3 contestants will date the girl's mom, and then that mom will choose who that girl should go on a date with.
Oh.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So I tried out for that back in college. Yeah. So that was, but I didn't make it. But it was really interesting to see how they did it. And one of my friends did make it. And it was like, yeah, it was completely rehearsed. We didn't even get to date the girl at all after. It was so stupid. So I was like, okay, well, learn something new.
So in regards to the other sports you participated in, aside from basketball, do you, like, how good were you in those sports? I know football you stopped because of tackle. In golf you said you weren't the best, but maybe like baseball and volleyball.
Volleyball I was pretty good in. Volleyball, I was varsity for 3 years. Yeah, I was varsity. So varsity for 3 years. Varsity starting for 3 years. Baseball, I could pitch, I could field, I couldn't hit worth a dang. I could not hit the ball at all. I was really bad with that. Football, though, I could have played receiver in high school if you didn't tackle so hard. Yeah. Basically, if I didn't get tackled, I would have been able to play football. But I tried out like other sports as well, like ultimate frisbee, handball, obviously, like all the anything where you're running, you're doing stuff. Like I could try playing them all. Really, I really enjoyed it. But golf was the one where it's like I didn't have fun playing golf. Like I just, it's too slow for me. It's too patient. I need to get out there and move around. I need to do stuff. I can't just stay still. Yeah. I need to use my competitive spirits and focus it in running into something rather than literally sitting there hitting a golf ball. That's it. So that was me. But yeah, volleyball, I was pretty big in. I was very big in volleyball.
What type of player were you in volleyball?
So my freshman and sophomore year, I was actually back row specialist. Then I got into my junior and senior year, and I was just full time. So I would rotate from outside to middle to everywhere, then back row as well. So I played all around. I wasn't a libero or anything. I wish I was, but it was one of those things where, yeah, I was just a full rotational player the entire time. So it was good. It was really fun.
For sure. So what was your like height and physique like compared to everyone else, like during high school?
So I was at the time I was 5'8", 5'9", but the rosters listed me as 6'2". Yeah. Look. When colleges come asking about a player, they don't want to recruit a 5'9" Asian kid, okay? They want to recruit a 6'2" Asian kid. So literally, I would go, because you would have to get measured every single year.
Yeah.
And in my junior year, I was listed my correct height, which was 5'9" at the time. And then my senior year came, and my coach knew I had a chance at college. So he's like, Corbin, you know what? Do me a favor. When you actually do your measurements, wear shoes, and get on your tippy toes. So I was like, bet. Okay. So then I did it. He listed me as 6'2". And that's where I started getting calls from colleges and offers, basically. So it was one of those things that it was very, very necessary to do so. Having said that, I got recruited to play basketball as a point guard. I was a 2 guard on my team. So I was a shooting guard on my team, but I could also play point guard. And I would have been the shortest on the team anyway if I would have played point guard. So point guard would have been my natural position. But I'm 5'10", almost 5'11" right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Although chat says that I have short person energy and they call me a short king all the time. So that's a problem. We're not talking about that, chat.
All right. Since we got into the topic of basketball, it's time to talk more. So you mentioned that you're shooting guard, point guard type of player. What was your biggest achievement out of basketball?
Good question. No one's ever asked me that question before. You know what it was? In my opinion, it was getting that first call from UCSD. I got a call from UCSD's coach to play for them. And that was they were my first call. And that was probably the most special part of my career because you play so much since day one of your life at the age of 4, and then you get to age 17 is when I started getting recruited. And it was like a culmination of everything coming together and all your hard work and sacrifice, your tears, your blood, your sweat, your
Mhm.
broken fingers, your whatever. Um, that was like the culmination of like I'm doing this thing. Like I'm pretty good. I'm not bad. It was that was my most crowning moment where, you know, the coaches took the time to call you and talk to you and talk to your parents and be like, hey, he's gonna be good here. Like just check out our school. And from then on, it was really sweet. Just getting like I only got recruited by 3 schools,
Mhm.
but it was really sweet just having that option available to me and being able to visit the schools and get like the athletic treatment, so to speak, at those schools. If I would have went there, which I didn't go to any of those schools, but yeah,
Yeah.
that would have been it.
Okay, so
Um,
those 3 schools were all D2s?
all D2s. Oh well, two D2s and one D3.
Got it.
So yeah, the D3 was Occidental High, which is like right by here, or Occidental College, which is right
Mhm.
by here.
And how about like for your high school team? Like how good were you among your entire school and like the district?
Okay, I don't want to like make this into like a bragging, but like
Yeah, realistically.
I was ranked third in the country for scoring, or I'm not the country in California for scoring. I averaged 28.5 points per game. Not that I know the actual amount, but
Holy.
yeah, I averaged 28.5 a game. I think I had 4 assists and like 7 rebounds, I think.
Mhm.
So yeah, and yeah. So and I had good percentages too. So it was I mean my team wasn't very good.
Yeah.
In fairness, my team wasn't very good. We were I think like 18 and 11, something like that. We weren't very good. But yeah, I was able to at least showcase my abilities.
Mhm.
And I think that's a big reason why I was able to was my team wasn't good. I think if my team was good, I never would have got any looks at like any potential like college teams. I would have
Mhm.
never got looks. But because my team was bad and because I could have huge numbers, I think especially for like an Asian American like myself, that was really important for colleges to be like, maybe this guy is kind of good. We should check him out.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow. So, what would you say your strengths and weaknesses were, or versus now are, in terms of basketball? Because it sounds like you're a sharpshooter. You could probably
Mhm.
pass if you play the point guard position.
Yeah. So I'm not athletic. I'm athletic for an average person, but not for a basketball player. If you know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Yes.
I could touch rim, but I could never dunk.
Mm-hmm.
I could sprint pretty well. But it was one of those things where athletically I was always overmatched by the person in front of me, generally speaking. So I was very good at shooting the ball, and creating for my teammates as far as like working with the pick and roll.
Yeah.
We did a lot of pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll, pick and roll. With pick and roll, you did death. That's basically how we did our damage for the most part, and I could shoot very well from anywhere on the floor. Those are my two real big defining characteristics. Plus my knowledge of the game since I've been playing since I was 4, and really just essentially spamming since I was 4, 24/7. So
Gotcha. And since you were like a good player within your own school, do you feel like you had that cockiness or confidence in yourself? Like, what was your attitude in game?
you know, I'm careful around the word cocky because it's like it's such a negative connotation. But
Yes.
at the same time, when in my opinion, I was a little cocky. I think that's fair. I think like I wouldn't have wanted to be around me. The person I am today, I wouldn't have wanted to be around me back then because like I was cocky. I was overconfident. I did think I could do anything to anyone as far as like, beating them, as far as like beating them in basketball, etc.
Yeah.
I did think that, and do I think that today? No, of course not. I was definitely humbled a lot throughout my career. But it's one of those things where, yeah, I was overly confident at that time. But I think in whenever you do athletics, and whenever you're in athletics, or whenever you're in a highly competitive environment, you have to have that confidence in yourself to achieve greatness. Because if you don't have that confidence, even if you're quiet about it, if you don't have that confidence in yourself, then how are you ever going to reach those heights? And I don't
Mhm.
think you are personally. So That's
Yeah.
where, yeah.
Okay. So I asked you about your greatest achievement. What would you say your favorite memory was from basketball?
Ooh. Okay. It was when this one's actually pretty. Okay. It was when it was my senior night, my last game on my home court, and they brought out my mom and my dad.
Yeah.
And my mom and my dad were known by everyone in my school because they would always bring like a camcorder and they would always videotape. My mom and my dad, they never missed a single game of mine ever.
Nice.
Regardless of my dad's working, he's taking off work to go. My mom's working or whatnot. You know, the games were always later, so she always made it. And they would always sit together, my dad with the camcorder up 24/7. And they actually, you know, they got a nick. It was Corbin's parents, and the entire crowd went Corbin's parents. And like it was a special moment. My mom broke down crying. Oh God, okay, I'm not gonna tear up here, but
Yeah.
my mom broke down crying. My dad, who never cries, broke down crying, and it was just really special to see, like, you know, they were a part of this. It wasn't just me; it was them as well. So, yeah, that was a really special moment in my life.
That's amazing. Okay, talk more about the And One experience. I know they sponsored you and just gave you, like, you know, the clothes, right? But what was that like overall?
The And One experience was very okay. So in all honesty, I didn't know much about the And One experience other than my parents telling me that we got free clothes from And One, and we had to take pictures to be in like some of their promotionals. My team, the reason why my team was sponsored was not because we were the best. It was because we were all Asian and we were like pretty good, but we were like competing in, you know, a pool of like all other ethnicities. So we're going to kind of get dominated sometimes. But it was one of those where I think they were trying to market towards, you know, Asian people and Asian ballers basically. But it was really cool getting a lot of free clothes from them. At the time though, they weren't as well known when they were doing the ads and promoting us. So it was one of those things where we didn't have to do like live spots or anything. We were back in like 6th grade, 5th grade. So I didn't know too much of it. I didn't think too much of it. All I knew is I had a bunch of And One gear, like from way back when, that I still have to this day that obviously I can't wear anymore. But yeah, I didn't know too much about it other than we had to wear jerseys and we had to take pictures for their promotionals.
Got it. That's what went down. Okay. Alrighty, so this is more about your opinion. Top 5 greatest players of all time, NBA talk right here.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so are we going 5 to 1 or 1 to 5?
What
would you prefer
let's just
here?
do 5 to 1.
5 to 1.
No, actually, no, the other way around. I think it would be tougher to go 5, right?
Okay, so 1, I'm gonna have to say it. I'm gonna have to say it's LeBron James.
Okay.
I get the Michael Jordan thing. I completely get it. I watched him play. He was amazing. I get it. I think the fact that LeBron is like 36, 37, something like that, and he's still at an all-time level is absolutely insane. It's completely ludicrous. And I think even though he's never going to surpass Michael Jordan in championships, in a lot of other things as well, because Michael Jordan never lost a championship round. Like that's why he's great. That's his greatness. Sure. But I think the prolonged level of being at the top of your game for essentially what's going to probably be 20 years of his career, just absolutely, it's something that's incredible. I mean, at lowest he's 2, but I'm gonna put him above because just the overall long-term top tier eliteness, and you know, he started out at 18 and he dominated, or 17 and he dominated. So you know, that just prolonged level, I can't pick anyone else. Plus he was my generation, so I think it's more of like a generational thing, right? Like a lot of people haven't seen Jordan play, so yeah. I would say Jordan 2 then. Number 3. I mean,
Ooh, this gets interesting.
okay, so like you could say like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but is it people that I've seen play, or is it like just the history of
Just
things?
the history of your thoughts.
Okay, so it'd be Kareem Abdul-Jabbar number 3 in my opinion. Bill Russell number 4. I would say, because he won like 15 championships or something stupid like that. Number 5. I'm not gonna include any more older players. I want to include someone who's more recent here. It would be down to, in my opinion, Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and Shaquille O'Neal. I would say Shaquille O'Neal was the most dominant player I've ever seen in my life. But he was dominant for a short stretch in his career. He wasn't like dominant in the latter portion of his career. Kobe, I think, edges him out there. But Tim Duncan's sustained success is actually something that's huge too. I'm gonna go with Kobe because it takes a lot. Kobe had that like Jordan instinct almost, but he was like a worse version of Jordan. But at the same time, you can't deny his championships. You can't deny what he did as a player. And I think a lot of his mentality came into my game. It came into a lot of other people's games as far as like doing whatever it takes to win. I think it really molded our generation of players today. And I think that's why I'm going to go with Kobe here. But although I would understand if people chose, someone else, or like the greats from way back when.
Yeah.
I think that's understandable. So
nice. Love the explanation too.
Yeah. I'm a big basketball fan, man. Like I live, drink, die. I'm on Hoops Hype 24/7, man. Like seriously,
Sure.
I'm on it all the time.
Okay, so that was all time. How about top 5 for current NBA players active?
Good question.
We could start at the 1 again.
Well, number 1, Kawhi Leonard. Number 2, Paul George. Number 3, Ivica Zubac. Number 4, we're gonna throw some Nicholas Batum action in the case. And number 5, we're gonna rock with our rookie Brandon Boston Jr. I'm just kidding. Number 1, I'm gonna say it was Giannis. Those are all Clippers, by the way, in case you guys are wondering. I'm gonna say Giannis is number 1. I think the guy is undeniable. He's so strong. He's so long. I actually had the pleasure of seeing him play in real life, and the dude looks like an alien. He has like what, a 7'8", 7'9" wingspan. It's just stupid. And he runs like a gazelle, just dominant, super strong. Number 2, I would have to say, Number 2, I would probably say right now, like injured players are not included, right?
You could include injured players.
Okay, I can include injured players. Okay, well, that doesn't even matter. Luka Doncic is number 2 in my opinion. I think Luka, having seen him in the playoffs for 2 years now, and having him average 45 points a game against my team, against Kawhi Leonard and Paul George guarding him and double teaming him, and seeing him basically drop triple doubles every single night against my Clippers, I don't know how to deny the guy. And plus his contract is going to be great moving forward. I'm just sad that he plays on Dallas, to be honest with you. He's great though. He's great. I generally like to, whenever I do this, I'll generally lean towards guards because I think that guards have more effect on the game to this day. You know what? No, number 2 is going to be Steph. I'm sorry. I didn't think of Steph. Steph's going to be number 2. Doncic is going to be number 3. Steph for reasons that everyone probably already knows. I'm leaving LeBron off my list here because I don't like the fact that I think LeBron's great. Don't get me wrong. His greatness is undeniable. But LeBron, in my opinion, doesn't play hard 24/7 because he's older. And at the same time, he blames a lot on his teammates a lot of the times. And I'm not a big fan of him blaming his teammates 24/7.
Yeah.
But I would say number 4 would be... Ooh, you know what? Okay, hold on. We're gonna have to backtrack here.
Okay.
Antetokounmpo, Durant, Steph Curry, and then Antetokounmpo, Durant, Steph Curry, then Doncic. There we go. And then I'm probably gonna round that out with Embiid. I'll round that out with Embiid.
Embiid, okay.
Yeah, Embiid as well, because that guy is so dumb. He's incredible right now. I would say Jokic too, but the dude, I feel like I could guard him, even though I definitely can't. He's so slow. I don't get it. It's like Doncic. I'm sorry, I'm like probably profiling here, but it's Doncic and Jokic move so slow, but they're so talented. It's insane.
Yeah. Alrighty, the top 5. Okay, so finishing up with like 2 more questions or so. So, how did you become a Clippers fan?
I was born into it. I had no choice in the matter. Legit had no choice in the matter. My dad split season tickets with like 7 other people for Clippers tickets. And they were really nice seats, but the Clippers never won more than like 20 games. So the tickets were super cheap. Mm-hmm. So what everyone would do was they would buy season tickets for Clippers, but then watch everyone else, watch the other teams come in and play. Because Laker tickets were always so expensive. So it's always about the Clippers. So I grew into just loving this ragtag group of people that always lost. To be honest with you, I grew into that. And it was one of those things where I've always been the type to never just go along with the crowd. I've always been the type to I have my own beliefs. I have my own ideas. And if it goes along, great. But I'm not, if it doesn't, that's fine too. And yeah, I've always been a Clippers fan, and I've always been loyal to them, even though LA is owned by the Lakers 10 out of 10 times. All my friends are Laker fans. I'm the one Clipper fan, and I've been so since day one. So, yeah.
Yeah, so out of curiosity, since you're a Clippers fan, how emotionally invested are you when they're like out of playoff contention or stuff like that?
Okay, let me tell you this, Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
When they drafted Blake Griffin, I cried. Dude, you don't understand. I literally sat there and I cried for like 10 minutes. My mom came in and asked me, like, Corbin, is everything okay? I was like, we just got Blake Griffin. Like, I was crying. So I'm very emotionally invested in the Clippers. Mm-hmm. If they win or lose, it's okay. This year, they're not going to win the championship unless Kawhi and Paul George come back. Maybe they'll have a chance. But I'm realistic too, Yeah. It's one of those things where I understand the game of basketball. I understand there's a lot that goes into it, but I'm very invested. Even though I stream during Clipper games, I usually try to watch the Clipper games afterwards, or at least watch the highlights every single night on YouTube. Great, yeah. YouTube's great for that. But yeah, it's one of those things where I'm very emotionally, but I'm also emotionally invested in all of basketball. So like, I'm a fantasy basketball player, so I follow all the teams basically. Yeah.
With that being said, do you have a team that you dislike or a player that you dislike?
The Lakers.
That makes sense. Okay.
I really dislike Russell Westbrook. I really dislike Russell Westbrook. I'm not a fan of Russell Westbrook. I'm not a fan how he rocks the baby every single time when his team's down by 15. The guy has to rock the baby. The guy has to stomp around when he makes a 3 after missing the last. He's the type of player. Wilson, you play basketball, right?
Not to that degree, but somewhat, yeah.
Okay. So you know how when you're playing basketball and you're playing a pickup game and there's this one guy who just talks so much crap.
Yeah.
But he misses like every single shot.
Nothing to show for it, yeah.
Yeah. And then he makes the very last shot of the game to win. And he's like, I'm the greatest thing ever. That person is Russell Westbrook. Hands down, that man is Russell Westbrook 10 out of 10 times. That drives me crazy. The guy's like 0 for 15, and then all of a sudden he makes the final shot, and he's just stomping around, rocking the baby, playing the guitar. No, I'm done with that. So there you go. That's my answer.
Got it. All right, I'm gonna wrap things up with who do you think is going to win this year, realistically? Like which team?
I like how you say realistic.
Yeah. And
so I can't say Clippers. Okay, got it.
Go for that. Go for it.
I'm gonna say Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee's gonna.
Milwaukee?
Oh yeah, I think they are. They just have that championship makeup. To be honest with you, and Giannis can't be stopped. I don't know what team can honestly stop them. The Brooklyn looks bad. Phoenix, I'm not even scared of because the Clippers almost beat them without Kawhi last year. So I don't really get that. And Phoenix didn't change their roster, so I'm gonna have to say Milwaukee unless someone else proves them otherwise. Heat are close, but I don't think Heat can do it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Last question. What would you say is the best series you've ever watched? Playoff series.
Ooh. Okay, honestly, best series I personally ever watched was the Clippers against the Warriors. When they brought the Warriors to Game 7, and the Clippers ended up winning that game, and that was the year right before the Warriors went nuclear and they just dominated the entire league. So you could see it. You could see Steph and Clay and Draymond just everything clicking.
Yeah.
But the fact that the Clippers were able to win that series, and it was they both played at such a high level. It was an incredible watch. So that was my favorite series of all time to watch, personally. But the playoffs, the Heat against the Spurs had a lot of juicy moments. The Cavs against the Warriors was a rock fight, and it was actually really boring to watch because LeBron was just slowing down the game. But that was mainly it.
Okay, now more about you. So you mentioned the Korean side. What is that?
Okay, so I took an Ancestry.com test a year and a half ago. And I assumed it was going to come back 50% Japanese, 50% Chinese, because that's what I've always been told I am. It came back, basically, I'm 50% Japanese, 44% Chinese, 6% Korean.
Oh.
So I'm like, yo, we got some Korean blood here. Let's go. So I told my grandmother that, my grandmother on my Chinese side, that I'm Korean, that we're Korean. We have Korean blood. And my grandmother was like, get out of here. No, we don't. You stop this talk right now. So I know for a fact we do, though, because one of my cousins also took the test and she had the same results. So it was one of those things where we definitely have at least some Korean blood. I don't know how much we have, but we have some for sure. And nothing against Korean. I love being Korean now. Shoot, I'm 6%. Like, that's what's up. But it's one of those things where, yeah, like I just, that was shocking to me once I was like, oh my gosh, I am Korean. This is cool. Because I actually, when people look at me, no one ever guesses Japanese. People do guess Chinese, but they guess a lot of Korean. They always guess a lot of Korean. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, I could be Korean. Sure, I'm down with that.
So that's the story.
That's the story.
Okay, so finishing up the high school talks, what was your high school stereotype? Considering that you played a lot of sports, academics, would you say you were kind of like one of the famous popular jocks or something, or what?
I was a jock. All right. Here's who I was. I was a cocky jock. Literally, I would go in, because I'm working out and stuff, right? So like I would go into school wearing like a wife beater and like basketball shorts, and I would walk around thinking my shit didn't stink 10 out of 10 times. I never bullied anyone. I never did any of that stuff. But I always thought like, oh, I'm cocky. Like I was just really cocky back then, to be honest with you. I was really cocky back then. So like, yeah, I would be like trying to flaunt my muscles and crap like that. That obviously doesn't work. Or like I would try to like dress really well to impress the ladies, that type of stuff. But I was a jock. I was pretty popular due to sports and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much me right there. It's embarrassing, I know, but that was me. Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the topic of bullying. I like to talk about that. Have you ever been bullied in your life?
Yes, for one day. Until I punched the guy in the face really, really hard, and he didn't fight back. And then from there, I never got bullied again. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That was my freshman year. The senior, actually, he was pretty built, actually. The senior was talking a lot of crap to me. We were playing basketball, and he talked a lot of crap to me, and he was on the basketball team. And I just stopped the game. I walked over to him. I punched him really, really hard in the face. I was like, we can fight if you want. I'll probably lose the fight. I told him, I'll probably lose this fight, but you know what? I'm not going to go down swinging, fam. It's up to you. And he didn't fight back. And I think from there, like people saw it and people kind of shared those stories, and I never got bullied again. But my school in general, my school didn't really have too many bullies. My school was very, very chill because everyone kind of knew each other, because we had 2 elementary schools go into 1 middle school, go into 1 high school. So literally everyone pretty much knew each other in our grade, in our year. I knew most of the higher up, like the older kids anyway. So it was one of those things where it was fine.
Okay. And talking about like fights, have you ever been in like a physical altercation?
Aside from that, no, I've never. Yeah, never like an actual fight. I've never done that. Just punched someone in the face one time. That's it.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Considering that you've played a lot of sports, have you ever sustained a severe injury?
Broke a finger. I broke this finger. I hyperextended my knee once. That was painful. I was on crutches for like 2 weeks for that. But no like internal damage. Oh, funny story. I actually so I changed my doctor like 4 years ago. I changed my doctor. I walk in and my doctor's like, you have a broken nose, right? And I'm like, what? And he's like, yeah, I'm looking at your nose and it's a little crooked. Like you broke your nose at some point, but it's definitely healed over. So in order for us to fix this, I'm gonna have to re-break your nose. You're gonna have to wear a little cast on it, and etc. I'm like, huh? So apparently I broke my nose at some point throughout my basketball career.
Yeah.
I don't know when, but I mean I've gotten hit in the nose like 50,000 times. So it's one of those 50,000 times where I broke my nose. So I never knew that. Broke my finger, broke my nose. Sprained ankles, a lot of sprained ankles, probably like 8 or 9, and jammed fingers, but that's it. Nothing else. I've been very, very lucky in my sports career that I never had like serious like knee injuries or anything like that.
Okay, so you opted out from playing college ball. How did you decide to go to that specific college? I think you mentioned Loyola or Loyola?
Loyola. You can say LMU. You can say LMU too. What I was told, and this sounds kind of corny, but what I was told is like when you go into colleges, sometimes you just might know. Like when you step foot on the campus, you feel the vibes. You just kind of know this is probably the college that I want to go to. And I think when I went on to LMU didn't recruit me for basketball, nothing like that. I just went on, I visited, I made it into that school. It was just a matter of which school am I going to go to, whether it's a basketball school or a regular school. I kind of just stepped foot on there and I enjoyed the vibes. I knew that was the school for me. Met a lot of like the counselors, teachers, some kids. And I was like, you know what? This is a really good place for me. It's a really good place for me. And yeah, I made the most out of my college career. I loved college. It was really good because up until that point, I had defined myself as a basketball player. That's who I was. That's what I knew. I was a gamer. And I think I became a lot more well-rounded as far as my interests and my likes once I went into college and I started doing college things. Basketball kind of took a back seat to everything else, which was great.
Yeah. And you chose business finance?
Yes, I chose business finance. Correct.
Okay.
As my major. But I was also in a fraternity.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. I started a fraternity basically when I was there.
Okay, so my next question, give us an overview from college to now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I step into college with a girlfriend at the time, and my entire first year, my first class in college, I had like this test we had all known about the test. It was gonna be our first day of class. It was for a math class, and we had this test, and I knew it, and I was so pumped and jacked for class, like for my first day of school, that I literally stayed up all night, up until an hour before my class began, and I fell asleep, and I ended up missing my first day of class.
Oh.
So yeah, so that was my first day. But outside of that, it was really, my college career was a lot of fun, but it was very challenging at the same time.
Mhm.
I know Spanish. I know how to speak Spanish a little bit. I know a lot better writing as opposed to like actually speaking. So I had actually tested into like one of the top Spanish classes, and then I went into class
Yeah.
and I listened for like 3 minutes, and they were like, "There's no English being spoken, just speaking," and I'm like, I don't understand what they're talking about at all. So I dropped the course like this. I dropped it like this. So it was like actually insane. Like I walked in and I literally sat there. I was like, I can't do this, and I just walked out and I left, and they never saw me again. I was like, there's no shot I could do this.
Mhm.
So my college career was very topsy-turvy, but I met a lot of cool people, and that was like where my freshman year I was in an all-guys dorm. And that was, at first I was like, damn, I really got to be in an all-guys dorm. This is going to be awful. And then over that year, I began to meet so many awesome dudes and stuff that like we actually, our second year, we that's how we started the fraternity. Was basically 58 of the guys, all from our one dorm, got together and started the fraternity together, because we were like, we're all sad and disappointed that we can't, live with women or whatnot.
Mhm.
And at the same time though, like we all honed that into like a brotherhood almost. And we started a fraternity, and that was like one of the coolest aspects of my career. Fraternities a lot of times get really bad raps
Yeah.
for, and honestly, a lot of it's deserved. To be honest with you, a lot of it's deserved. Our fraternity though was very, I am very happy to report that our fraternity was very like against a lot of like that type of behavior, the bad behavior, the parties, getting girls too drunk, etc. We didn't do that stuff. And I was really thankful for that whole entire process of meeting like these types of particular people, because it was just, everyone enjoyed the vibes. Everyone enjoyed all the games that we used to play around the school.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was a lot of work, but a lot of fun at the same time. And it was responsible. Well, it was very irresponsible as far as our drinking, but very responsible overall as far as how we treated people. I think that's how I'd like to say it.
Yeah.
But yeah, some of my best memories in college were actually doing that. And I brought a lot of like the events that we used to do for my college, like fraternity, into like the stream as well. So it really helped my streaming career as well.
Okay, and then you could continue from after college.
After college, got into the working life. Worked. So the year I graduated from college, it was I graduated right in the middle of like the housing crisis. So like the back in the day. So yeah, I'm a bit older. So there were no jobs for any graduates. So pretty much people, had to take whatever job and then work their way up. That was the only way. No one was really hiring. They're hiring like the top echelon, don't get me wrong, but I wasn't the top echelon. I was just a simple graduate. So I worked my way up. I started in customer service at a rare collectibles shop. So we dealt in like rare coins, rare cards, like PSA. I don't know if you're a fan of cards.
Yeah,
at all.
PSAs. Okay.
So yeah,
Graded.
PSA.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I worked for that company and basically worked my way up all the way until I became the online marketing specialist. Basically, I had my own. I was basically a one-man army in the online marketing sector. So I would create all the emails, pretty much all the emails in your spam folder. I created all the Google listings, so like Google AdWords, that type of stuff. I fooled around with that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And we hosted a collectible show 3 times a year in Long Beach. So that was my professional life. But my personal life, played a lot of basketball, worked out a lot. And honestly, that's where I began to like watch some streams, like Summit 1G. Summit 1G is like one of my that guy's like my inspiration
Yeah.
for streaming. I used to watch him when he was on Justin.tv, so like way back when, before Twitch was even a thing.
Mhm.
I used to watch him, and it was a lot of fun. And then hung out with my friends, partied pretty much every weekend. I love beer pong. I love beer pong probably more than anything. I have a ridiculous fascination with beer pong and like all those other drinking games. I love that. Yeah, fast forward now until this day. Now we're here.
Okay. So I was gonna transition to all of your work experiences. You've already mentioned being a part of the as collectibles as a marketing specialist. Let's go from the very first one. How'd you get it? What went down? And then transition there. Whatever you're comfortable talking about.
Like customer service wise, is that what you're kind of referring to? Like, and then moving my way up,
Or just the very first one.
very
first job
one of what?
Like
Oh,
that you've
okay,
ever
very
had.
first job. Okay,
Yeah.
so very first job I had was a basketball referee.
Oh.
Yeah. So when I was 14 years old, my parents wanted me to start working just to understand the value of money. And I was a basketball referee for 3 years, refereeing kids anywhere between the ages of 8 to 12. And let me tell you something, basketball refereeing sucks. It's the worst. Because like when you're refereeing kids that are really young, but their parents are hyper competitive.
Yes.
It doesn't like I was like, these kids are so small. It doesn't matter. Like, don't worry, have fun, relax, enjoy the process. And these parents are just yelling constantly at you, no matter what. And it's just like, and they're cussing too. And I'm like, these kids are 8 years old. Like, what's going on here? So that was my first job. Then I worked as like a basketball clinician for the next like couple of years, and then once I got into like professional work, my first I interned at this place called Ameriprise Financial, and that was where I started really getting some serious work experience. And my interview, I got the internship, but my interview with Ameriprise was the worst. It was so hard. It was a ridiculously hard interview where basically the interviewer just asked me over and over again why. He would follow up every single question with why. So he's like, why did you take this job? And then you answer blah, blah, blah. Then he's like, why? And then he follows that up with why. And then it got all the way down to the point where it's like, well, I'm Asian and my parents expect me to one day make some money. So it's like one of those things where it got down all the way to like the nitty gritty. But after I talked to him about it, once I got the position, he was like, the reason why I keep asking why is because I want to see how you can think on your feet. Because you clearly aren't practicing like just answering one line of questioning and breaking it down from X to Y to Z, etc. So it's been one of those things that, yeah, for me, I was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I started off at Ameriprise Financial. Basically, I was an assistant, a glorified assistant. Then I went into customer service where that was at the collectible company where I got yelled at constantly. And that was like not fun. But then from there, I started getting into like the marketing aspects. And that was like where I really wanted to be anyway. And I worked my way up. Made it all the way to online marketing specialist, then got into content marketing manager, where I basically created all the content for my company, whether it's like writing stuff about the different cards, writing stuff about different rare coins, writing stuff about different rare collectibles in general.
Yeah.
That was kind of where I was featured in up until recently. Yeah. So that was basically my career, and those were the steps I took from my career.
Got it. So just a specific question about just dealing with people, whether it's in basketball as a referee or in customer service. Any interesting stories of like how crazy people can get?
Yeah. Okay, here we go. So my very first game that I ever refed, I had to ref it by myself. The other person who was supposed to work with me got sick or something. I don't know what happened, but basically I was working by myself. So at the very beginning, these were two church teams. Okay, they were church teams.
Okay.
So before I'm about ready to get them to jump ball, and everyone's screaming at me, and I don't know why they're screaming at me. And then they're like, "Well, we pray before our games." But it's only when these two church teams play against each other, not the rest of the league, just these two teams in particular. So I'm like, okay, whatever. So we do that. After that, the ball, they start playing or whatever. And then the parents just start like cussing, like profanities the entire game. And I'm like, this is a freaking church game. I knew those two teams, those two organizations were the worst, the bottom of the barrel. Like those two teams are barely going to win one game the entire year. And you guys are yelling at me and cussing this badly at me when I'm clearly a 14-year-old kid. When Asians don't age, it takes us a while to look older. Like we're young. At 14, we look like we're 10. We look like we're 11 years old. So you're basically yelling at an 11 to 12-year-old kid cussing at me, thinking that I am like ruining the game for these kids or whatever. And it was just a really, 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 really awful experience. And then from there, though, like it turned out those two teams were the worst two teams as far as like the fans. Worst two teams. But it just hit me a different way because you're like, those are the two church teams. You would think like, oh, they're just looking forward to snacks after and praying more. No, they're like cussing at me and yelling at me the entire time. And then like the rest of the league was fine. It was just those two teams were just absolutely awful. So that was my first experience refereeing. As far as customer service goes, I realized how stupid the average person is. I think that's the best way to phrase it. Like, I think in all the big cities, like for the most part, don't get me wrong, all the big cities, there's a pretty high education level amongst people who live in the big cities. But then when you start working with other people who are in the more rural sections of the world, they think they know everything. And then when you talk to them for like 2 minutes, they know nothing. And there's a huge divide there that, like not to get political or anything, but you begin to understand why there's such a divide between different parties. It's one of those things that, the education level on some people when you're just talking to them and they're yelling at you for no reason, and it's completely their fault because they don't check a box. It's like, check the box, please. That's all I'm asking you to do next time. I'm not even yelling at you. Just check a box next time. I'm letting this go through. Stop complaining to me about how, my company's a bunch of Nazis because literally you didn't check a box. Like, just check it next time. We're going to allow it to go through. It's just one of those things where like, you just realize that some people just don't get it.
Yeah.
And, so I kind of realized that was my version of customer service. I was in that for like 9 months. And then I switched over to marketing where that was a lot better because you don't have to deal with people.
Yeah.
You deal with then selling, how to sell stuff, etc. And really starting to put my educational background into actual work here. So that was really, really cool. And that was a great first step. And I got to see a lot of cool things. Like my third day on the job, I held a $175,000 gold coin. And and I was just like holding it like this. I was like, what am I supposed to do with this? And my fingers were like frozen. So it was one of those things where it was really, really cool. Really, really cool. But I just realized that overall, people throughout the world are just really dumb. Like there's just a lot of dumb people in the world. And usually they're the ones that call customer service, not the ones that want to be like, oh, thank you, Sonny, thank you. Like I don't get too many of that.
All right, the work experience talk. I love it.
Yeah.
And just out of curiosity, since you worked with like collectibles and stuff, do you personally collect anything?
I collect a little bit of coins because I have a little bit of knowledge on them now.
Yeah.
So like a lot of people have like spare change or like stuff that they've been inheriting. So I sometimes can look through some of that and like see little things that are like, this is probably worth something or this is not.
Yeah.
But that being said, I don't have the money to like get into serious collecting. The one big thing I did purchase is a Jordan card. That's the one thing I purchased. It's about $600, give or take. But that's it. I'm not. I see how much money people pour into collecting, and it's just something where I can't do it. I did have Pokemon cards though. I did have a lot of Pokemon cards, and yeah, let's just say my parents thought I was a drug dealer for like 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah, because my dad used to take me when I was in middle school. My dad used to take me to a Frankensons, which is big warehouse where people would wholesale Pokemon cards, and I would buy them in mass, then pick them all out, pick out all the holograms, get like the Charizards, and then sell them to kids at my school for like $100, $200. So every day, my parents, I got an allowance of like $40, $30 just to pay for lunch meals every day. So my parents were looking through my wallet. They knew what was in my wallet. So basically, I would come home with $100, $200, $300, $400 sometimes. And it got to the point where my parents would sat me down and they're like, "We need to talk to you, son." And I was like, "What's up, Mom? Like, what's going on?" And they're like, "Are you selling drugs? Like, what's going on?" And I was like, "Why? Why you guys ask me that?" They're like, "Because we opened your wallet and we saw $450 in your wallet, and we know for a fact we put $40 in your wallet for the week. So what's going on?" And then I explained it to them, and they're like, "I'm proud of you, son. Keep it up. Keep it up. I'm proud of you, son. I've never been prouder in my life." So it's one of those things where, yeah, I used to do that a lot. Yeah. Pokemon cards are number one. But nowadays, I'm the laughing stock because Pokemon cards are so expensive. So it's like,
if you held on to them.
Yeah, if I would have held on to those dang things, it would have been better. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Yeah, started young with the hustling.
Oh yeah, gotta hustle.
All right, before we move on, do you need to take a quick break or anything? Because I'm gonna use the restroom.
I'm gonna go grab some water really fast. Yeah, sure.
Okay, sounds good. We'll meet up right
Be
after.
right back.
Thanks for being here, chat. Much appreciated. We're gonna get into social life aspects. Hi, everybody. Hustler experience, upbringing, makes sense why he's in marketing and sales. Very, very intriguing. Don't forget, guys, Cobes is also a streamer, so you could use that exclamation guest command, which leads you to a direct link to his Twitch channel. Drop the follow. Hi, Chris. Viewers' questions allowed. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention. So if you guys have any questions, usually at the end I save like my random questions to ask. That's when you guys could definitely leave your questions. So all you would have to do is just tag me, ask your question, and then I'll present it to Cobes. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. We're probably at about the halfway point. It's very interesting to just learn more about people. So, extremely fun. I'm good, Chris. It's been a while. Thank you so much for dropping by. Hello.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
All right, you good?
Yeah, I'm good, man. Whenever you're ready.
All right, here we go. We're gonna start talking about your social life aspects. Right.
Okay.
You mentioned that you used to party every weekend, right?
Yes.
So talk
Yes.
about the partying life, if you were ever into clubbing, raving, all that sorts of stuff. Give us a good overview.
Clubbing, yes. Raving, I've actually never been to a rave before in my life.
Uh-huh.
Clubbing, I love to. I love to club. You know what I don't like? I don't like going to bars. Actually, I don't know why that is. I just don't like going to bars. But I love going to clubs like Vegas clubs. Mainly Vegas clubs, or like back then like college clubs a lot of the time, or like Hakkasan, etc. So I really love clubbing.
Mhm.
The only thing is, like, nowadays with COVID, I'm like, I don't know about clubbing, but it's one of those things where clubbing has been great. Raves I've never been to. I've always wanted to go to like an EDC or something like that at
Okay.
some point. I know,
Yeah.
which I know you go to, right? I know you go
No,
to
no,
the rave.
no. I'll go to my first one this year, but I haven't been to
Oh,
EDC.
oh, okay, got you. But yeah, so I've never been to a rave, but I hear it's the same vibe as a club, but just more open. Like, there's less people like all crowded together 24/7. But that's one thing I've always personally wanted to do. Yeah,
Mhm.
I honestly love house parties. House parties are my thing. I love
Yeah.
going to house parties because I think, it's just a little bit more intimate for me. Like, that's
Yes.
that's what I prefer. Just when you're able to like chill with friends, you don't have to talk over some random strangers, like,
Hmm.
in a bar or whatever. It's a lot more intimate. So I'm a big like, if I'm gonna party these days, it's gonna definitely be like a house party or something like that.
Yeah. Okay. So, what type of person are you at the parties or club?
It's my Twitch personality. To be honest with you, I'm just loud. I'm loud. I talk shit sometimes when we're playing games.
Uh-huh.
I'm a giggler. I giggle a lot. I laugh a lot. I giggle a lot. Just have fun. Just spread the good vibes. I don't like talk shit in the sense like it's like bad talking shit. Like, no, I
Mhm.
just mess around, talk shit,
Like
and
banter and
it's
stuff?
yeah, like
Yeah.
banter. Like, it's nothing serious. Like, and I just like to spread the good vibes and have a lot of fun, and
Mhm.
just enjoy the night. Really, I'm a happy drunk. I'm not a sad drunk or anything. Very happy drunk.
Ooh, that was actually one of my questions. Nice. Happy drunk.
Yes, very happy drunk. Very happy drunk.
Okay, so how about wildest partying and club experiences that you've been a part of or witnessed? Anything come to mind?
The wildest. Good question. All right. I drank with Jamie Foxx
Oh.
at a Vegas club. Yeah. Jamie Foxx was with you. I think we were at Hakkasan, actually, in Vegas.
Wow.
And he had a table, of course. There, I didn't have a table, but I was with a couple of my homegirls, and he was hitting on them. So
Oh.
I kind of just got brought in there,
Mhm.
and I was like an extra almost in the occasion. But
Yeah.
like, he bought us all drinks. He's very nice, a very nice man. But he bought us drinks, and he was super funny. He was super down to earth, very, very honestly. Okay, so the two girls really didn't show him that much attention either. So he was actually talking with me more than he was even talking with them, which I was like, this is kind of cool. This is dope. But he's actually pretty down to earth. He's really cool. He's a really cool dude. And he's like, yeah, you guys drink, have fun tonight, enjoy yourself. I'll tell the bouncer and the people who are around him, like his bodyguards and everything. You guys are the three Asians with us. Don't worry, you're good. You're good. So I was like, that one night was like super special for me.
Yeah.
Aside from that, oh, okay, I could tell you a funny story that happened in Koreatown.
Okay.
So me and my friends, about like 9 guys. We all went to Koreatown. There's this place called Gam. It's a Korean bar. It's pretty popular amongst everyone in LA to go to. So we went there. We were outside. We're hanging out, having a good time, just drinking our beers and drinking our drinks. And this is my close group of guy friends. So I know none of us have any fighting experience whatsoever. We don't fight. Like,
Yeah.
we don't do that. So what happened was, there was this group right next to us, about 12 or 13 Asian guys. smoking weed outside. And we're like, oh, that's cool. Like, who cares? It's weed. Like, and I guess someone in the bar or whoever, not in my group, because my group smokes, some of them smoke too. So someone in the bar complained about them smoking weed outside. So this was before weed was legalized, by the way. So
Okay.
it was one of those things. Yeah. So the bar owner had to come out and actually just warn them to stop smoking weed outside. So this group, they were a bunch of Asian gangsters. They thought it was my group that complained about them.
I see.
So they started picking up all their shot glasses and throwing it at us.
What?
And we were like, what? Guys, it's not us. We don't give a shit if you guys pop up a giant blunt, start smoking that with a bunch of drop-in pills. I don't care. You guys do whatever the hell you guys want to do. We don't care. We're here to have a good time. So after they started throwing shot glasses at us, like incessantly trying to fight us, then they get kicked out of the club. Okay. Or the bar. So they got kicked out of the bar, all 14 of them. Right. So they go downstairs, whatever. They're out. We're like, okay, good. They're gone. Whatever. So what happens next is crazy. So we end up leaving about 45 minutes later because we have alcohol on our clothes. Like we're pissed too, but we're not going to fight them. We're not dumb. Like we're not, we don't have anything on us. So we go outside and there's glass everywhere. There's a big indoor parking lot and there's glass everywhere. And we're like, what happened? Yeah. So the bouncer's like, hold on one second, guys. And then like we start talking to the bouncer a little. And we're like, what happened? And he's like, there was like 13 Asian guys who just got kicked out, who literally left. They got kicked out. They went into the parking lot and started punching out windows of cars. All the expensive cars, they punched out windows. So all the Beamers, all the Audis, all the Mercedes that were in the lot, they punched them out. Every single one punched out all the windows. So people were coming out literally like, what happened? Oh my God. And like everyone's like on the phone calling. Yeah, because they thought it was our cars. But little they know, we all Ubered. So it wasn't our cars. It had nothing to do with us. So they literally punched out every single window of every expensive car. So everyone's coming out. It was just really, really, really bad. And it was a really dangerous situation. Yeah. Luckily, nothing happened to us. But I could kind of look back on that and laugh because it was just one of those things where it's like, those dumbasses, those idiots. But, one of those things. You live, you learn. And I don't go to that bar anymore because it's not worth it. It's just
the vibes aren't there.
Yeah, it brings back bad memories. So it's one of those things that's just like, nah, I'm good. But that was actually crazy.
Okay, so that's partying, clubbing, that scene. So, do you recall your first time ever drinking alcohol? And what was that like?
Yes. My first time ever drinking alcohol was when I was 13. And my uncle, my Japanese side, all of them drink. And they drink very regularly. It's like ingrained almost in our family. So my uncle Glenn gave me some Jack Daniels to try. So I drank some Jack Daniels first. My mom was yelling at him to stop because my mom is the only one in that side of the family who doesn't drink alcohol. She's a square. She doesn't drink any alcohol whatsoever. So she was like, stop giving him alcohol. What are you doing? So that was my first experience with it. After that, probably at the tender age of 16, this was in high school, my junior year, I began raiding my dad's fridge, or not, my dad's alcohol cabinet. My dad doesn't drink very much. He'll only drink socially. So he had all this alcohol that was never drank. And I would get into some of his whiskey with my friends. We would drink it. And then my dumbass at the time didn't think about ruining the alcohol. I was more worried about getting caught. So I would pour water every single time into the whiskey to make sure the levels were even, just in case my dad ever checked the bottle. Yeah. But in the process of doing that, I'm basically watering down and destroying the whiskey that I'm drinking. So it was just one of those things that I never thought about it, but I was absolutely destroyed it. And then over the course, It just became like watered down whiskey that I was drinking the entire time. But yeah, that's what I would do.
Did he ever notice?
He never noticed until I told him. Until like 8 years ago, I told him or something like that. Because he doesn't drink. He doesn't socially drink. He never drinks at the house. So all this alcohol would have been left there anyway. So he never knew that it was even gone.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things. Yeah, that's those are my first experiences with alcohol right there.
Okay, and what would you say is your favorite type of alcohol versus your least
favorite type of alcohol? Long Island iced tea. That is my number one. I love Long Island iced tea so much. I like the fruity drinks, but the ones that are pretty strong too. Adios AMFs, adios motherfuckers. Also very good drinks as well. I love those. I also love your mojito. Mojitos are very, very nice as well. Anything like that's gonna be great. Jack and Coke, great. My least favorite drink, I would have to say, is what's that drink with wormwood in it? What's it called?
I don't know.
Absinthe. Absinthe's my worst. Absinthe. Yeah, it's like 70-80% alcohol. Yeah. And yeah, that was gross. That was the most disgusting thing I've ever had in my life. Most disgusting thing I've ever had. But it's like super duper strong. Absinthe was it. Yeah. That was the grossest.
All right. Favorite and least. There you go. Okay, so we're gonna talk about possible interests. Are you into any of the following: movies, shows, anime?
Any of the following? Oh,
yeah.
Anime, TV series, sure. I know some. I don't watch a lot, but I know some. Movies, not so much, to be honest with you.
Okay, can we get a top 5 for each of those categories at least?
For TV series, The Wire is number 1 in my opinion.
Ooh,
I love The Wire. The Wire is probably the most well-written show of all time for me, in my book. I would say The Wire is number 1. Number 2 in TV series. Ooh. Can we go Game of Thrones minus the last season?
Yeah,
can we do that?
That's fine.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
okay, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the thing. Cool. We're good. We're good.
Game of Thrones fan.
I'm a big Game of Thrones fan. Yeah, I read all the books too. Number 3, I would have to say. Ooh, now it gets a lot harder here. Succession's really, really good. I'm a big fan of Succession. I really, really like Succession a lot. Succession's a really, really good show. It's also very dramatic. It's good. Number 4. I might have to Google what series I have here.
All good, top of your head type of thing.
Number 4. There's this comedy. Oh, what's the comedy called that I watch? Oh, How I Met Your Mother.
Oh,
number 4. I'm a big How I Met Your Mother fan. And yeah, sitcom. It's more of a sitcom, but yeah, series sitcom. It works. That would be my number 4 probably. Number 5 would have to be, in my opinion, yeah, we'll probably just go with like Friends or something. Friends is number 5. Yeah, we'll rock with Friends.
All right, that's shows. And then for anime and
Dexter.
Oh.
Dexter's really good. Dexter probably number 3 or 4. You can put it either way. Dexter's
crazy.
Awesome.
I literally just finished New Blood today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Did you love it?
I liked it. It makes sense to me.
Yeah.
What a wait, 8 years.
8 years, yeah. Dexter's awesome. Okay, anime wise, number 1's gonna have to be Death Note.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Death Note anime wise. Death Note's bae. Number 2 would probably have to be from the Dot Hack series. If you know the Dot Hack series offhand.
I don't.
Okay, the Dot Hack series. I'm a big fan of like animes that kind of have like that MMORPG like aspect to it almost. So Dot Hack would have to be my number 2. Number 3 would be Hunter x Hunter.
Okay.
Yeah, Hunter x Hunter would probably be number 3. Number 4 would be ooh, ooh. You know what I really like? I like Fairy Tale. Fairy Tale
Fairy
number
Tale.
4.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big Fairy Tale fan. Number 4. And then number 5, I'm gonna have to say it is. If we had Fairy Tale at number 4, you know what? Let's just round it out with One Piece. I can't think of anything else right now.
That's cool.
One Piece is fine. Yeah, One Piece.
Okay, and then whatever you got for movies.
Movies. Well, the Harry Potter series is
Mhm.
that's near and dear to my heart right there. Harry Potter. Well, we'll just call it the first movie of Harry Potter. That's gonna have to be it.
Okay.
The very first one.
Yeah.
That was great. Ooh, movies. Movies are a little tough for me here. Let's
Yeah,
see.
there's a lot to think about.
There's a lot to think about with movies. Number 2 would probably. You know what I really like? I like the Avatar, not the Airbender, but the blue creatures running around.
Yeah, that one's good.
I like the Avatar. I like the Avatar a lot.
Hmm.
That would have to be number 2. Number 3 would be Avengers: Infinity Edge, the last one. That was great.
Oh, the Thanos, like Infinity War
Yeah, the
saga?
Thanos
Okay.
Infinity War. Yeah, did I say Infinity Edge? That's on me. Infinity War. Yeah, that would have to be in there as well.
Yeah.
Avengers. Number 4. I didn't see the newest Spider-Man, but I heard that was amazing. Did you see it?
Yeah.
What thoughts? Best Spider-Man ever or no?
Amazing. Yes.
Amazing.
Out of the
Okay.
movies, I really like that one for sure.
Okay. Shoot. Okay. So I gotta check that one out still. 4 and 5. Lord of the Rings was really good. Lord of the Rings was great. Probably
Okay.
Lord of the Rings 1. Lord of the Rings number 1. The first ones are always the best in the sequels anyway.
Mhm.
Number 5. Can't think of any other movies here. Meet the Fockers was great. I like Meet the
Okay.
Fockers. That was funny.
Nice comedy.
Yeah. Comedy.
It's interesting because normally when someone brings up Harry Potter, it's like Lord of the Rings is tied with it in the top 5s from previous guests, and there's
Yeah.
always like at least one Marvel movie added.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
It's if you like that kind of thing, then you're gonna be into it for sure. Fantasy.
Yeah. And I just had a question. Since you've read the books for Game of Thrones, how was the series adaptation to you, like in your opinion?
So I liked it personally because for me, I watched before I read. So it was something where, like, for me,
interesting. Okay.
yeah, it was different. So like I didn't know about it until later, but once I watched it, I was like, okay, so now when they mention Daenerys, I know who Daenerys is in my head.
Mhm.
So that actually really helped me. Obviously, there were things that were off, especially towards the tail end. You could just see it like veering off course like crazy.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where, to me, what do you expect out of the showrunners? They're basically making it up as they go. So I
True.
understand the showrunners, like the problem associated with that. I just wish they would have held off on it until oh god, what's his name? I forgot the writer's name. Oh, the writer, whoever he is, I forgot his
R.R.
name.
Martin? George
R.R. Martin. Thank you,
Yeah.
George R.R. Martin. Until he wrote more books, because
Yeah.
they're so far just like creating whatever at that point.
Mhm.
So I didn't really like the way the last 2 seasons went,
Yeah.
as far as like just guessing and guesstimating. But at the same time, I understand that there's a lot of issues there that
Mhm.
weren't resolved. So
Got it.
yeah.
It's your feedback. Cool. All right. Current favorite song and artist.
Current favorite song and artist. Ooh. Current favorite song. That's a good question.
Mhm.
I actually, Honestly, okay, it's not a current song, but it is my favorite song. Does this
Yeah,
count here?
that works too.
Okay, "Lose Yourself" by Eminem is my favorite song of all
Nice.
time. It's my favorite song of all time, hands down. Um, Eminem's great. Eminem was big in my life, all throughout my life. Just a great, great artist. Probably my favorite artist of all time, I would say, is Eminem. Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah. Okay. Choose yourself, Eminem. Okay, switching gears. As of now, what are your current goals and aspirations in life?
Current goals right now is to make it to partner streaming. I think that's the number one thing that I think a lot of us streamers aspire to do. Um, growing our communities, trying to welcome in new people, trying to introduce good new people. It's not just welcoming in random new people, but like welcoming in quality new people
Yeah.
into our communities. I think I've seen a lot of what you do with your community, and my community is very, very similar to what you do with yours. It's something that I think, yeah, partner is what we all kind of want to start with, and then from there we want to use that as a platform to grow our networks drastically, hopefully,
Yeah.
to one day like make enough money to support ourselves becoming full-time permanently. At least I don't know
Okay.
about you, but that's at least a hope for me, to one day do that on a greater scale, so we could all enjoy ourselves, we could all have fun, but at the same time it could be a full-time position for me moving forward.
Love that. We'll definitely talk about Twitch in a bit. Okay.
Other goals and aspirations. Uh, One day I want to create some sort of charity that gives back to the people, and that especially takes care of the homeless, because being homeless is a big problem out in LA area.
Yeah.
Huge problem. And dealing with that, and there's a lot of like mental things going on there, but also just societal and economical things going on there. And I think creating more well-funded organizations to at least help with that
Mhm.
would be a lot better, or just people in need in general, not just homeless, but people in need in general. I think helping people is a big, big thing. I think like one of the things with becoming like being in marketing and stuff, you don't really get to have an impact in people's lives. You don't get to help people at all. Really, all you're doing is trying to convince people to buy things. That's literally all you're doing. So, that was something where for me, I really wanted to take a step back and be like, how can I help people more?
Yeah.
And this was like a big, big predominant factor in my life. So yeah, create some sort of organization that helps people,
Mhm.
and that I know, like, the reason why I say creating is I know where that money's going. I'm always a little careful with charities and organizations where I don't know where the money's going per se. Like, I don't know about you, but like some charities in the past have reached out to me being like, hey, do you want to do a charity event for us?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't I don't feel comfortable doing it, because it's not like a Red Cross. It's a completely like different charity that I've never heard of before in my life. So it's like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like, personally, I just don't want, I don't, not that I don't trust them, but I don't trust them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
one of
yeah.
those things. It's one of those things that, yeah, sorry, I just don't trust
You would be
them,
more
so.
hands-on, so you would know for sure, like 100% where it's going. Okay.
So those are the big aspirations in life, is helping people in need, or in helping people in general, being a mentor to people as well. That's definitely stuff that I want to do.
Okay. And briefly talk about some of the travels and adventures you've been on, and then after that you could talk about where you would like to go.
Okay. So right before the pandemic, I actually went to Japan.
Ooh.
I went to Japan. I stayed in Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto. I've never really felt a huge kinship towards any of my Chinese or Japanese or now Korean cultures, but once I went to Japan, it almost felt like I was returning home in a sense. It was really cool. That was the best experience of my life, going to Japan. We went for 2 weeks. It was an amazing experience. I gained legit 30 pounds. And we walked 8 to 9 miles a day. and I gained 30 pounds.
Interesting.
Nuts. But it was some of the best food. I dig the culture. I dig how clean it is. Everything about the people were great. Everything about it was awesome. I also been to Italy. I went to Italy for 2 weeks as well. We went to Santorini, Greece as well. So Italy, we went to Florence, Sicily, and Rome. Super amazing. Pasta was incredible. Pizza here is better than there. Here, our pizza here is better than their. In my opinion, our pizza here is way better than over in Italy. But the pasta was handmade noodles or something different. It hits different. The cool thing about Italy, people don't know this, is wine is more expensive than water. I'm sorry, it's cheaper. Wine is cheaper than water over there. So water's actually super pricey. And they have like these really cool fountains that just because their aqueducts are so good and their water transportation, everything is so good throughout the entire city. They have just full running water 24/7 that you could drink. So you just put your bottle under the water, the nozzle, and water just shoots out, and you just drink it. And that took a while to get used to because I was really scared of that. But yeah, their aqueducts and everything's so good and it's so clean that you could literally just drink straight from the fountains, which is really cool. So yeah, I loved Italy. Love Japan, hands down. Also like Hawaii. Those are the only two places where I went out of the country. But also like I used to travel to Hawaii all the time. And I love Hawaii. The islands, the tropical. I'm a big swimmer, so like I'll go like snorkeling, scuba diving, etc. I love that personally. I would do that every single day of my trip. And yeah, those are it.
Nice. And where would you like to visit?
I would like to go to Cancun. Cancun would be great. I would like to go to like the Galapagos area to snorkel and scuba dive there. Pretty much any of the island nations, so like Tahiti as well. I would love to go to like Tahiti area. I would love to go to Australia. Anywhere where there's snorkeling and scuba diving and swimming, that's where I want to be. That's ultimately where I want to be. Anywhere that snorkels and scuba dives. That's it.
Sounds good. Okay. And just a question out of curiosity, was 2 weeks enough for you in Japan?
So I was actually, this was before the pandemic, but I was actually seriously considering moving there for like a year. Legit moving there for a year because I had so much fun. There's obviously like issues involving like work, involving a lot of other things, but yeah, I would have wanted to move and live in Japan for a year. So 2 weeks wasn't enough for me personally. In Italy, 2 weeks was enough. 2 weeks was enough for me. I saw all that I wanted to see, and it was time for me to go home. Santorini, Greece was nice, but it's basically a little island. Yeah. So, you have fun. You enjoy the infinity pools, sure. The food's all right. I don't love Greek food, to be honest with you. I'm not a big Greek food guy. So I was like, whatever on the Greek food, but it was nice. But I also wanted to leave there eventually too. So that was one of those things where only Japan was the one where I needed longer. I needed a lot longer.
Yeah. And to wrap things up with that, what was the biggest culture shock with Japan for you? You got to say.
The biggest culture shock. I would have to say the biggest culture shock to me was how clean everything was and how caring everyone is of each other. Because like in LA, sure, people care for each other kind of, but not really. People are just like, you kind of just move on. You don't wonder about like how everyone else is doing. But in Japan, everyone legit cares about how you are. Are you okay? Is everything okay? Like, let's keep everything clean for everyone type of thing. Like the coolest thing to me was like, I don't smoke like cigarettes,
Yeah.
but like people who do, there's like little pods that you basically walk in if you want to smoke a cigarette outside. You just walk into these little pods, smoke a cigarette. There might be other smokers there, and then they seal behind you, so you can't actually pass that smoke around to other people. That was like the coolest thing ever. I was like, Japan has it down to a science. It's really freaking cool. Yeah, it was really
Got it, to like stop secondhand smoking.
secondhand smoking. Yeah. Because I grew up in a household that actually had a lot of secondhand smoke. A lot. My grandmother on my Japanese side smoked a lot back then.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna switch gears into more like serious topics. If you're okay with that.
Let's go.
So this is relationships and heartbreak. Just like how you talked about your work experiences, you started from the first one. Can you do that with your relationships, whatever you consider? So kind of like how you met, what went down, and then
so like relationships today. In the sense of like girlfriends, or are you talking
yeah.
So
let's
love
say
life. Okay. So I had my first girlfriend in 7th grade. In 7th grade. And it was all right. I mean, like, you know, you don't know what you're doing in 7th grade, so it's more like just, oh, we're holding hands, hee hee ha ha, that type of stuff. You know, we went to a couple of like movies and stuff, but there was nothing. It didn't get beyond that. My first kiss was freshman year of high school. Yeah, first kiss was freshman year of high school, just with a random person at a party. Yeah. You know, I didn't know what I was doing. I had braces on. So I had braces from 6th grade to sophomore year, and it was just so bad. And that my first kiss was so bad because our braces got caught in each other. So it was one of those things where we tried to pull and we pulled it out a little. And then so like I learned over time that when you kiss a girl who has braces, you got to make sure after you kiss, you go up a little and then back. It's not like a simple just back off. It's like sometimes it's like a little up and back like that really fast. Yeah. So that was kind of crazy. Yeah, you know, I had quite a bit of like short-term relations. I want to call them long-term. I had a couple of long-term in between, but I had a lot of short-term relationships with different people throughout the process. Probably overall had like, I don't know, in my high school career, probably like 8 to 9 girlfriends, I would say. My college years, I'll tell you this story about college. I dated a porn star for like 6 months, but I didn't know she was a porn star until when we were about to. Okay, so basically what happened was this. So I was in college at the time, and I was dating this girl. It was fine. It was cool. Everything was great. She had a lot of money. So I was like, so our second week of our relationship, she literally bought me like a $600 watch. And I was like, what? Why?
Wow.
I was like, why? Like that, I'm very low maintenance personally. I don't wear any like jewelry. I don't wear anything. I don't have designer shirts. I wear basketball clothes like 9 out of 10 times a week, you know? So it's one of the things that like, I'm like, why? Thank you, I guess, is a Movado watch, basically. I was like, oh, wow. Like, damn. Okay. Like I hit it big. I hit a home run with this one or something. What's going on here? So over time, like after 6 months, like everything's going well. My roommate, who was my best friend in college, messages me and he's like, hey Corbin, I have a problem. I'm like, what's up? Like, I got you with anything. He's like, well, your girlfriend has been borrowing money from me to give to you for gifts, and she's not paying me back.
Oh.
So it's like, what? I was like, excuse me? I was like, what? So in total, she had borrowed $3,300 over a 6-month period to buy gifts for me. So first off, my question was to my friend, A, why didn't you tell me this sooner after like $1,000, dear Lord? Like, what are you doing giving her $3,300 to give to me? but he had all the receipts, so he knew all the stuff she was buying, she was giving to me. So that was very, very interesting because over the course of time, I ended up having to take, well, my roommate took her to small claims court. And this is when we were still dating at the time. So
yeah.
because I was trying to balance between, I knew I was dumping her. It was just a matter of how much money can I get back from my friend before I dump her. It was one of those things. So eventually she stopped like paying in increments, and we had to take her to small claims court. And I was the expert witness against her for my friend. And then later on, I found out like one of her other friends reached out to me and it's like, hey, dude, I should have let you know sooner. I'm sorry. But she's like, a star online. And I'm like, what? And then I had to get myself checked and everything else because I was like, this is not happening. This is not good.
Yeah.
So that was my one brush with court. My friend won. And luckily, it comes out of any of her paychecks. So like she doesn't even see the money. It literally just gets pulled automatically into him. Other than that, once I graduated from college, I jumped in and out of relationships in college as well. And then once I graduated from college, I met my then now wife. And
okay.
we've been together for over 10 years now. So it's been a long time. Yeah. So it's one of those things for me that's like, when you know, and I think at the time, like I knew like she was the one. Yeah, pretty much. And we've been living a very happy life ever since, to be honest. It's been great. Yes.
Prior to your wife, would you say you've gone through like significant heartbreaks?
Oh God, this is gonna make me sound like an asshole. Not really, to be honest with you. I generally was the one who broke it off. The only things I would feel sometimes would be a sense of loneliness.
Yeah.
Definitely a sense of loneliness once you sadly end a relationship or whatnot. But I also would like to say, like, my maturity level, I think in a lot of the relationships wasn't quite there. Like I was not prepared to be in a serious long-term relationship.
Yeah.
Then I would end up breaking up with them because of that. So it was completely my fault. I learned, obviously, but I wasn't mature in that respect. So it was generally me. The toughest one on me was actually that one I just mentioned to you about the court cases and everything else, because there's just a lot to that at the time. And it was like a wave of emotions because like, you're still with that person, even though like, and then you just hear this bombshell, like everything's going great. And then you hear this bombshell. It's like, you got to switch gears and just be logical and then lose those feelings at the same time for that person. So that was a really tough situation, unfortunately. But yeah, so that was like the closest I've ever gotten to that degree of heartbreak. But yeah, that's where we're at.
Okay, so considering that you're in a long-term relationship, you're a married man, and you're talking about learning lessons, what advice would you give? General relationship advice.
Life is meant to be happy. Here's my advice, basically. You choose to nitpick each other if you want to nitpick each other. But it's better to just live your life happily and to just look past some small negatives, because you don't want to live and die in a relationship on small little negatives. Otherwise, you can nitpick each other to death. Literally, I make daily things that I'm sure annoy my wife. She makes daily things that annoy me. But if you're going to live with someone and be with someone for the rest of your life, just make sure you don't nitpick people and enjoy life and take it for what it is. Be happy and enjoy it. When you're not enjoying being with that person anymore, or if you're looking for a reason to fight, then that person's probably not best for you, to be honest. That's where we're at. Yeah.
Nice, love that advice. Okay, so another topic that I'd like to talk about, how would you say you're doing now mentally? Like, how's your mental health?
Mental health is good. streaming sometimes could take a little bit out of you. I think the thing is you need to consistently remind yourself, don't worry about numbers, don't worry about numbers, don't worry about numbers. Even though like your goal is to hit partner, which is partly based off of numbers, at the same time, you just think if you're having fun, your audience, whoever that may be, is having fun. So my mental sometimes ebbs and flows with how well the stream does. But over time, I've learned to just kind of black it out almost. Don't look at the numbers and just go with it and enjoy. If it's to 2 people, sure. If it's to 150 people, great, But it's one of those things that like I try to take it less serious, and that has helped me long term with the process of like dealing with like numbers and everything like that, like how many viewers. So my mental is really good. My mental is really strong. But yeah, like there are blips sometimes where I'm like, again, like so because streaming goes ups and down, it ebbs and flows. Like one week you'll have 65 average viewers, the next it might drop to 30 for no reason whatsoever, or there might be midterms, or there might be this or that. Who knows? So you just got to constantly remind yourself, because I've been at this game now for almost 2 years, and you just got to constantly remind yourself, hey, sometimes it's going to be better, sometimes it's going to be worse. It's one of those things.
Okay, I'm definitely gonna like nitpick your brain about that when we revisit this topic.
Of course.
So back to mental health. When you felt like you were at your lowest point in life, how did you climb out of that?
Meditation. I'm a big proponent of meditation. I'm a big proponent of, I have the Calm app personally. I don't know if people have the Calm app, but I strongly recommend getting the Calm app if you are going through mental health concerns, or any mental health in general, or just want to learn about how to deal with down periods in your life. The Calm app is really, 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 really strong. And I've been meditating. Try to meditate every night, and sometimes I try to meditate every day, but it generally doesn't happen as much. But I try to meditate every night. What it does is it slows down your brain. It teaches you how to breathe, because like, okay, so like, not to get like crazy meditation here, but basically, if you breathe with your stomach, newborns have always been taught to breathe with their stomach their diaphragms, as opposed to like their chest. But as we get older, we breathe with our chest generally. So if you breathe with your stomach, though, it generally takes a lot less strain off of your body, so you don't stress out as much. So if you learn how to breathe with your stomach, that's like a really good simple tip on how to calm down and relax a little bit faster and relax a little bit better.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Meditation. Okay. And then lastly, in regards to this topic, how has COVID affected you personally or impacted your life?
COVID has affected my life a lot. I started streaming because of COVID, first off. So like I started really pursuing a passion of mine because of COVID. I'm seeing friends, but we're always taking tests every single time before we meet. That's a personal thing. That's not a thing that everyone has to follow by, of course. But for me, it's something where like, I'm in very close contact with my parents. I see my parents, every weekend, essentially, almost. So because of that, I need to make sure, regardless of how I'm doing, I need to make sure they're okay. Because my parents are in that age now where they're both a little over 60, older than 65. So like, I don't want them getting seriously sick just in case. So it's something where like, I appreciate that. Usually we have masks on when we're hanging out, unless we're outside, then we'll go off and on. It's okay. But it's one of those things for me that like, I don't have as much of a social life, like outside doing stuff. I'm not gonna travel in a plane anytime soon. Those are the main things for me that I just have chosen not to do until we're good. Even though I'm fully vaxxed and everything, it's just one of those things that I personally have chosen not to do it until I don't want to risk anything until it's a lot safer out there, pretty much. Yeah. So it's affected my life greatly, my social life especially, but it's also brought new challenges and opportunities for me, like hanging out with you tonight. So It's one of
Yeah.
those things. Yeah.
Alrighty. So we're gonna talk about social media now. Do you need a break before getting into this?
I'm good. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's pound it out.
All right. Aside from Twitch, what platforms are you currently active on?
I'm active on TikTok. Very active on TikTok. I'm active on Twitter a bit. And I'm trying to I've tried so hard to create YouTube content.
Mhm.
Look, Wilson, I gotta give you praise, man. I cannot listen to myself for more than 5 minutes at a time. It's so bad. I can't listen to myself. I cringe every time I listen to a VOD of mine. I'm like, oh my God, this is so bad. How could anyone listen to what I'm saying right now? It's so bad. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at right now. But yeah, mainly TikTok though. I focus mainly on TikTok.
TikTok. Okay. So what type of content have you been posting on TikTok? And like when you took a spin on YouTube, what was like your thought process about that platform?
Okay, so TikTok, as far as my content, it's generally related to Valorant.
Mhm.
I do a lot of Valorant clips I post daily on TikTok, basically, Valorant clips. And then I was doing some skits. I'm gonna start doing more skits on Valorant on TikTok as well. Mainly Valorant related. I do want to keep it into that particular niche for now. Maybe I'll create a separate TikTok for like lifestyle and that type of stuff. But yeah, I'm mainly on TikTok for the Valorant content, for the Valorant community. As far as YouTube, I love the longer form videos. My problem is I don't record my VODs when I turn on stream. So like when I plan an event, I don't record it. So I have to use like the Twitch quality.
Yeah.
And that's like a problem. It's a big problem because it doesn't look as good, right? Like it's pixelated almost.
Yeah.
So I need to remember that when I host events, I need to record it via, my OBS as opposed to like trying to pull it off of Twitch. But I keep forgetting that. But that's so my YouTube videos are going to be like longer form events type thing. Like I want to do like 10-minute videos, 10 to 15-minute videos max.
Yeah.
And then I also want to do a lot of like YouTube shorts since I could kind of double down with the TikTok content.
Yeah.
Drop the TikTok, drop the YouTube, drop whatever Instagram Reels as well. So it's one of those things.
Okay, so that was your experience on the platforms.
Oh yes.
Here we go. Yeah. We're gonna talk about Twitch. This one's definitely big. You briefly mentioned how you kind of got introduced with like the streaming platforms in general through Summit 1G, right?
Yes.
Summit
yes.
and then COVID. But how did you actually get into streaming like on your own?
So after watching Summit for years, I was like, I could do this. Like I could really do this. Like this is something that's really freaking cool to do. And I play games already as is. So it's like, why not play on a platform as opposed to, and like have the potential to talk to people as opposed to just playing by myself, playing a game. So once COVID hit and everything was work from home based, Valorant had literally just come out and just released. And I was a big fan of Counter-Strike.
Yes.
Huge fan of Counter-Strike. So I was like, this is my wheelhouse. This is perfect for me. So I decided, since I work from home, that, right after work, I could turn on my stream and stream for like 3 to 4 hours before dinner. And then boom, boom, bam, knock it out. So I started doing that, and it was a real, I don't know about you, but it was a real tough process for me because I had no one like in my life on the Twitch platform except for me and my best friend, Randy, Hero Lee. He would come to my channel every day, bless his heart, and it would just be me and him basically talking to nobody. And we literally built our community, from the ground up. And it was like a crazy process, but basically that's how it all began. I bought some like a real cheap camera. I had a real cheap microphone, and we just went with it. And my very first stream, it died in about 10 minutes because my internet wasn't good enough. So I had to reinvest in fiber internet. So I got fiber internet, which is like crazy. And then I started streaming, everything started working out, and then I started meeting like great people one by one. Like one day it was Jamato, the next day it was this guy named Variety, next day it was Janet. Like you just meet these people like every other day, and then like luckily they stuck around, and then you just start building and you start building from there. And now we're at this point where we're still small streamers, but we're all partner is at least in front of us as opposed to light years away, I guess you could say. So that's where we started.
Alrighty. As of now, what are the categories that you're streaming, and what is your current schedule like?
So I do just chatting for generally the first to second hour. I'll do just chatting. I generally I'm a big foodie, so I'll generally rank foods, and that's where my chat has a serious problem with me, because I don't like any condiments. So like ketchup, mustard, you name it, mayonnaise, I don't like any of it.
Oh.
So okay. Yes. And then also apparently no one likes candy corns. Do you like candy corns, Wilson?
I don't prefer it.
Oh god. All right. Anyways, I voted candy corns as like almost S tier candy for me. I love it. Okay. And I just got grilled. I got roasted on a stick for it. I got roasted. So I'll generally like rate different things in my life, whether it's like basketball, anything. I'll rank them in order, and I'll do that. Or I'll watch videos and etc. We'll watch some fun content, some fun videos, or I'll play Wordle, or I'll just sit there and talk trash about chat for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much where we're at right now. But then after that, I'll either play like Valorant. I just started playing Lost Ark a little bit. Play some Escape from Tarkov on stream a little bit. And I want to host more events, but I just need the time to like put them together. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And my stream schedule is Monday through Thursday from 5 p.m. PST to 10 p.m. PST. That's when I stream. Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a favorite memory from Twitch so far?
Yeah, it's my birthdays. Every year, my birthdays are incredible because my community will get together without my knowledge, and they'll create cards basically for me where they'll just tell me like, even if it's a small little impact on their daily life, like if I could put a smile to their face because I do something stupid on camera, or if I could just tell them, hey, life's gonna be okay, don't worry about it, you just hit a rough patch, you'll get better, etc. I think having that impact on people's lives, albeit small or big, that's the most rewarding experience to me. And every year, I'm a crier. I really am. And it brings me to tears every single year. Just seeing like, the types of people who come by and just say, you made a difference in my life. I think you can't get that from a lot of occupations in the world. You really can't. So the fact that this potential occupation, hopefully can be around for a while for hopefully both of us, it's one of those things where, like this is cool. Like this is big time stuff. And you're not going to get this in a lot of areas. So that's where we're at.
Memories. Speaking of your birthday, when is that?
October 27th.
All right. Gotta write that down.
It's a while from now.
Okay, so how did you come up with your name? Twitch name?
Sure. So the 33 is my basketball number. I have a ridiculous fascination with the number 33 ever since I was like a little kid. 33 has been the number forever for me. As my lucky number as well. I put it on all my lotto tickets. Never win, but still, we're not going to worry about that. The QQ part. So Cobes was actually my nickname for basketball. So people would say like Kobe or Cobes because my first name's Corbin. So it kind of works out. The QQ part is I used to play StarCraft a lot way back in the day. And every time you beat a Korean player in StarCraft, they would just type QQ as in Korean tier. It was like their tiers.
Yeah.
And yeah, so then the QQ comes from like my throwback to when I used to like play against Koreans in StarCraft and stuff. So
Oh.
yeah. So just adding it all together, that's the lore behind QQobes33.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, and more on the 33.
Yes.
How did you get that light behind you?
Okay, so this light is actually like, it's like a school project almost. Like, so we have styrofoam in the back. So how it shoots out, that's all styrofoam with a 33, cut in like a 33. And then in front of that, you have the red construction paper that we got from like a Kinko's or like a Staples, anywhere like that. So you put the 33 on top. Then we have LED lights surrounding the 33. Surrounding each 3, we have LED lights. So like if we want to change the color, it's like very, very easy to change the color to whatever. And yeah, the LED lights are there's a very nice touch.
That's cool.
It wasn't my creation per se, but it was my wife's. So
it's nice. Okay.
Yeah, and then I just have a couple of like other merch things that some people have made for me in my community. Like I have a koozie right here. Like this kind of koozie. It's to keep drinks warm and stuff. And this has my face on it. This is when I didn't realize I had started stream and Chad was like, hi. And I was like, wait, I don't have my stream starting screen on. What the hell's going on? So this was the first moments of that. Like, this is my horror right here.
Yeah. Wow. The memory behind it.
Right? And then I have another one where someone just drew a picture of me. This was actually like my first month on stream. Someone drew a picture of me. Right
so
there.
Nice.
So, yeah.
So you mentioned how your wife helped you with that. What was your wife and parents' thoughts about you streaming versus now?
Sure. They support me, hands down, because I've worked for 10 years of my life already. So it's been something where they completely support the idea of streaming because they realize and they see. One of the things that I think got my parents to buy in was the first birthday stream that I had. Jamato, who's a mod for you as well. Jamato TV actually created created like a giant card basically for me and had all my viewers basically write, how much my stream meant to them. And I actually showed it to my mom and my dad, and they're like, wow, like this is incredible what you're doing right now. And I think you're at a perfect place in your life where, like, sure, financially, is it the right decision? Not necessarily, but it's one of those things where if I'm starting to make a difference in people's lives, I could take the hit right now to try to make a difference in other people's lives as well, hopefully. Albeit small, but nonetheless, that's something that I wanted to do. So everyone is full go on it. They ask me all the time, like, how it's going. How are we doing? Is there anything we can help you with? Like, everyone's super, super supportive of it.
That's amazing.
So I'm very lucky to have, my parents. Usually, parents I think are like a lot of the times like, what's the best way for you to make money? I think my parents. That's what I'm very thankful for. My parents not everything for my parents revolves around money, which obviously you want to financially be okay, of course, which I am. But it's one of those things where, like, I'm glad that my parents aren't just completely on my ass always. Like, they're actually very supportive of this project that I'm working on. So it's been really cool. It's been really cool.
Beforehand, when you were talking about the fraternity, you mentioned something about how it had an influence on streaming. What was that?
Being outgoing and talking to new people. I've never been outgoing enough to talk to new people as much. I would always talk to like the people I was comfortable with, and I'd be loud, and sure, we bring in people from here or there, but it's not like something where like someone new comes in and then you're instantly like, hey, what's up? Like, how you doing? I hope you're having a great night so far, or whatnot. Like, really, when you're trying to grow as a fraternity, and you're trying to, build that camaraderie with, 50 some odd people or whatever,
Mhm.
there's going to be a lot of people who you don't really know that well, who you got to learn about more and you got to get used to, and who you want to vibe with and stuff. So I think it really, really brought my social behavior out in full and really got me to be like, hey, like, this is how you introduce yourself to new people. This is how you make them feel comfortable in your community
Mhm.
as you move forward, or your fraternity for that matter, community, fraternity. I think there's not much difference personally between the two. Um, that's how I look at it. There's like a almost like a brotherhood
Mhm.
or a familyhood sense of a community,
Yeah.
and I think that's one of the huge alignments of a community, of a Twitch community with like a fraternity.
Pretty cool to compare that.
Oh yeah,
Have you personally done any Twitch meetups?
yes. So I've done two, almost the third when I would have met you. That
Oh
one
yeah.
day so I would have met Linda. Linda invited me. Linda Vision invited
Ooh.
me to a hangout.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I might go, but then COVID, so maybe I'm not going to go. Because
I
I really
see.
didn't know anyone aside from Linda.
Yeah.
And then later on, I saw a picture of you two at that lunch that I would have went to. I would have went
That's
to the lunch.
crazy.
Yeah. So then I was like, yo, I would have saw this guy Wilson right here. That would have been dope. So
Mhm.
the other one I had actually one 2 months ago. My mods actually, I invited them over to my house,
Mhm.
and like I had a couple of mods fly down from like Baltimore area. Like it
Yeesh.
was really freaking cool. Yeah, it was really cool
Uh-huh.
though. There was like five or six mods there,
Yeah.
and we kind of just all hung out, enjoyed the night, drank. It was a good time. It was a great time. My first time was with this guy named Tenor King. He flew down from Houston area,
Mhm.
and he hung out with me, and that was my very first time I hung out with someone from the community. So it was really cool. It was a different vibe. I
Yeah.
was a little nervous, not gonna
Uh-huh.
lie. I was a little nervous because like, you get to know these people online and their online personas. That's cool,
Mhm.
but some people are different, like really different,
Yeah.
and or like socially they're just awkward in person but not on stream or
Yes.
whatnot. So I was a little nervous, like, what's going to happen here, etc. But I think once the ice was broken and everyone just relaxed,
Mhm.
and it's just your entire relationship, because ultimately, like, when we stream and we stream so often, you're talking to, your community more than you talk to any of your real life friends on a daily basis.
True.
Like that's just the nature of your communication. So you become good friends, you become great friends over time, you become family over time, and it's one of those things that, yeah, that's one of the huge aspects that I enjoy most about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. So, with that being said, what would you say are the pros and cons of streaming?
Well, one thing I tell people on streaming is this: streaming is not for everybody. If you find that you're being hurt by streaming in any way mentally over the course of the long run, you don't need to stream. No one is forcing you to stream. And I think that's really important for people to realize, because as a streamer, you know, a lot of people stream for a lot of different reasons, which is great. But like sometimes some people force themselves to stream because they think their community is going to hate them if they don't. And in actuality, I find it is the exact opposite. The community loves it when you're real, when you're a real person in front of them. If you have real problems that's relatable to others, like that's the type of stuff that's really, really good. But at the same time, like, streaming has its mental obstacles and hurdles. Like as I mentioned about numbers and worrying about numbers, worrying about how many viewers you have, or
Mhm.
worrying about your chat being dead, or worrying about if you are saying the right thing or doing the right thing. Like there's a million things, you know, you're live on stream. There ain't no reruns in this. You say the wrong thing, you could get banned. It's as simple as that. You do the wrong thing, your information can be linked everywhere. It's just one of those things that, like, this is a live thing. Is it easy? No, streaming's not easy. It's hard work. It really is. Like some people expect to turn on their camera and just grow overnight. That's
Mhm.
not how it works. That's not how it works for anyone. You got to put the time, you got to create content on other platforms, you got to do all this cool stuff. You got to become parts of communities like yours and like mine, same thing. And it's just one of those things that, like, for me, it's one of those things that, like, if you don't want to stream, it's okay. If you want to stream, great. I welcome you with open arms. I'm going to scream your name to the moon to try to get more people to come to your stream. And I'm going to be your biggest advocate. But it's one of those things where, like, don't force yourself. And because there are a lot of negatives to streaming, there are a lot of mental hurdles. So that's the negative. The positives, of course, hey, you get to meet people from all around the freaking world. And who, like, I know if I need to travel to Australia anytime soon, I have the homies there to be like, hey, come to this place. Hey, come over. Like, check this out. If I go to Amsterdam, if I go to the Netherlands, if I go to Italy, the list goes on.
Yeah.
I have people from all around the world who I can go to now to be like, hey, like, where should I eat? Where should I go? Let's meet up. Let's hang out. I'm bored. I'm doing nothing, you know?
Mhm.
So I think, like, that is the most rewarding thing to me, is getting to meet such great people throughout the process from all around the world.
Love that. Positives and negatives.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so this question might sound repetitive, but what general advice would you give to those who are trying to start out with streaming and are trying to grow? Like, what are the first few things that comes to mind?
First few thing that comes to mind, remove the idea of numbers. The fact of the matter is, you're not going to get good numbers. That's it. Period. End of story. You're not going to get good numbers. It could be for months. It could be for longer. You're not going to get good numbers by just turning on your camera. I also recommend creating content on other platforms. The fact of the matter is, Twitch has an awful algorithm for introducing new people to small streamers. It's everything is stacked against you as a small streamer. The way I liken it to generally is, if you have 3 viewers and you're playing Valorant, the chances of me finding you is I would have to look through about 119 pages of streamers with about 25 streamers per page. And then that's how lucky you have to be for me to click on your page. It's just really hard to find new streamers. So my recommendation is create content on other platforms and to be part of communities, bigger communities like Wilson's, like mine, like other people's. It doesn't have to be ours per se, but it can be anyone's community. Become parts of bigger communities, because that's how you'll actually, and don't just superficially become a part, because people know if you're superficially just trying to meet others so you could grow your stream. You have to really become a part of someone's community, show that you want to spend the time in their community for them to help you. Like, ultimately, that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Like, you know, Wilson, you're in my stream all the time, like saying what's up, vice versa, same thing. And it's because we support each other that we could do fun events like right now, what we're doing. That doesn't happen because I'm like, hi, Wilson, one time. Please put me on your podcast, Wilson. Like, thanks. Okay. It's one of those things that, like, you know, over time, you need to really show the community that you want to be a part of their community. You don't want to just say hello and then peace out and then deuces. That's not going to work. So those are my main recommendations, is just have a good mental when it comes to it. Don't expect a lot, and become part of other communities to hopefully attract more people to come in, because no one's going to find you just because you're turning on the stream. No one's going to find you.
Yeah. Love your insight on that. On the flip side of, like, the positives, have you ever dealt with any, like, trolls and hate on Twitch? And if so, how did you, like, handle the situations?
Okay, so trolls, I love to have fun with. To be honest with you, I approach a lot of weird, stressful situations with humor and joy, in a sense. So, like, so people will come into my stream sometimes and talk about vaccines and how they're against vaccines and how blah blah blah. It's like politically, you know, it's politically motivated. and I'll joke around with them about it, and then I'll ban them. But I think what's important is to show those types of people who come in here trying to get a negative reaction out of you. If you can turn that into a positive and actually use them as content, it's actually great. And it's very smart to do it like that, because then you're basically using them for your content, but you're also banning them eventually. You got to ban them. You don't want to just sit through that the entire time, that nonsense. But like, it's one of those things that, like, if people try to do stuff that they know, or like be racist, etc., racism I won't tolerate. So that's an instant ban. But for the most part, yeah, like, I think the tougher versions are when you have to deal with community members who you have to ban personally. I've had to do that on like 4 different occasions so far. I had to ban like good community members, but they do some stuff that just, it's not on my stream, but it's in a community member's stream, who, like, they'll show me after, and I'm like, if you think like that, even if you're like not like, I can't, you can't do that. Like, I'll let them know, and I'll like message them like, hey, this is why you're getting banned, and I'm banning you. But it's one of those things where it's like, you can't say stuff. Don't say stuff in other people's streams, because it's gonna come back. Like, everyone's gonna know about it. So like, don't use the N word, or don't hit on underage girls or anything like that. Like, it's just bad. That's very bad stuff. Don't do it. Yeah. So that's basically how I handle it generally.
You've dealt with, yeah.
That's I haven't dealt with too much hate, like actual legit hate. I haven't dealt with that yet. So very, very lucky.
Okay, so what are your thoughts about being a guy versus girl streamer, like starting out and just whatever? I think you know what I'm talking about, right? The disparity.
Sure. I think girl streamers. Okay, so this is how I kind of say things. Girl streamers have it really tough in a lot of senses that people don't understand. People always think that girl streamers just have, like, they're gonna get more views, they're gonna get higher numbers, blah 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 blah. They have to deal with so much shit that it's incredible. As far as, like, shrimps, I don't know how else you want to say it, but like shrimps, people who fall in love with the streamer, who base their communications, they'll base the money they donate to streamers and based off of like how like much they want to flirt back and forth or whatever. Like, it just sucks, and I feel so bad for all the lady streamers out there who are streaming, trying to do well. At the same time, do they potentially get more random viewers coming in? I think that's fair. I think it's fair to say in general. But at the same time, they have, like, everyone has different problems in streaming. Every single person has different problems in streaming.
Yeah.
And everyone has different benefits in streaming, right? At the end of the day, everyone has different benefits. So it's one of those things where I think the deck isn't stacked against anyone per se. Obviously, there's some streamers like Amaranth out there who really utilize their physical prowess, so to speak. But you know what? They're selling what they can, and I think that's partly what streaming is all about anyway, is selling whatever you have, right? I have knowledge on things. I learn about things. I could speak from my heart really well and candidly. Everyone has their positives and negatives. So even with like an Amaranth situation, I have no problem with her selling her body or doing what not legit. I have no problem with selling her figure or doing anything like that. It's all good. Do whatever you can to get as many views as you can. Can I do the same? No, I think if I were to be shirtless right now on stream, people would piece out of your stream. You know what I mean? So I can't do that. I can't whip off my shirt and show my beer belly, but it's just one of those things. So.
All right. Love to hear that insight from you. Okay, so you've been on the platform for 2 years. You mentioned that. I'm wondering, like, when did you realize, was there ever like a turning point for you where you started growing and started meeting people? Like, did you kind of like go through a change per se?
Sure. There was actually a couple of instances where I like meeting people. I think it was when I started to average around 50 viewers. That was the first time I started noticing random people coming into my stream.
Yeah.
Not like people who I've been talking to in other streams, been part of other communities. Random people started coming occasionally to my stream. It's because they'd find me and recommended, or they'd find me in the Valorant list, etc.
Yeah.
Once I started averaging 50 viewers, 50, not 15, 50. I started like being like, hey, I could grow this a little bit more. When I did big events, obviously that helps as well. When you do bigger events, when you host bigger events like tournaments, for instance, or like I did AQS versus PQS, where I split up my chat 50-50, and we did 6 different games where we basically broke each game. So like we played Apex, but one person on each team was blindfolded, and the other person was that person was controlling the character blindfolded. The other person had to tell them where to shoot, and it was a PvP round, one against one. Yeah. We did like that. We basically broke every single game. Like we did something for Valorant. We did a hide and seek for League of Legends. We did like a whole bunch of things. It was really freaking fun. Yeah, it was pretty cool. It took a lot of thought though. It like broke my brain for like days. But that's when I started seeing real growth, was when we started averaging 50. The other big thing that I noticed was, well, I recently got rated by like 10,000 people. So that was crazy. That's, you see that microwave picture right in the Chang Gang podcast episode right there. That was the aftermath of what happened. But I've noticed a lot of new people, swinging by, saying what's up, and showing some love, showing some, care for me. And I really appreciated that so much. Obviously, that's very lucky, and I don't expect that to ever happen again in my lifetime. Yeah. But it's one of those things where, like those were the 2 instances where I had to, I noticed growth. However, I will say this, with that other community that came over, I had a very tough decision on content, because they were all used to just chatting, period. No games, just chatting.
Yeah.
So I think I had to come to the conclusion that for me, that's not what I want to do 24/7. It's just chatting. I don't want to just react to videos the entire day and then call it a day. That's not what I want to do. That's not how I wanted to do things. So I had to come to the understanding with myself that I'm going to probably lose out on a lot of viewers, but I'm going to stay true to who I am. And I think that was a really important turning point in my career. Even though I am missing out on some viewers, I'm doing what's making me happy. So I'm fine with that.
Awesome. Okay, wrapping up with a few more questions about Twitch. So from your perspective, we have like giant, big time, like famous streamers, and we have small streamers. What do you view as like the mid-tier, the next level, in your opinion?
I view mid-tier of streamers anyone who's basically at an average of 70 to 75 viewers. I view them as mid-tier, going all the way up to, in my opinion, 250, around 300. Right there, I would consider them mid-tier. Anything after that would probably be, upper tier. Like the one cool thing on Twitch is like, people who average around 40 to 50 are in like the top 5% of all of Twitch already. Yeah. Which is actually nuts when you think about it on its face like that. So yeah, like mid-tier to me would be like anyone around that partner level, or who just got partner, who's trying to make it even further. That would be a mid-tier to me.
Got it. All right, so speaking of partnership, right? What do you view partnership as? Like, that is a goal, but what do you think will change for you? Like, some people...
I don't think...
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I was going to give you an example of what I've heard before. Some people view it as just, like, a check mark, and I've heard that, like, there's a huge presence to when someone comes into your streams and stuff with a check mark. They get, like, a lot of extra attention and all of that. But, like, I just wanted to pick your brain on this, of how it could change things for you.
For me, it's not the check mark as in the check mark next to your name.
Yeah.
For me, it's a goal. It's a goal that'll tell me, hey, I'm on the right path. Um, sure, can I talk to brands about stuff? Yeah, that's great as well. But that being said, are you really going to be, just because you hit partner, are you really going to be having advertisers at your door? No, not at all. So at the end of the day, for me, it's a milestone achievement that I think I have been working so hard at, and my community, quite frankly, has been working so hard at for me as well to get to. That's like, hey, like we're on the right path here. Like I feel like if I don't hit partner within, the next year or so, however, then that'll give me a good mindset as to I'm doing something wrong, or like what's going on. I'm close, but I'm not there yet. I think that's really what it's all about to me, is just like, it's that check mark, but it's not an actual check mark. That's kind of how I personally view it. Like this, I'm actually consistently still growing my stream, and it's my goal. That being said, though, yeah, talking to brands would be nice. At least a great experience. Learning about potential offers, even though they're probably going to be very low, which is okay.
Yeah.
But just learning about that stuff, I think that's all going to be super informative as I continue my career, as we continue our career. And it's something that, I would personally love to share with my community, because my community is made up of a lot of smaller streamers. So it'll be something that I would love to share that, I would love to share all that insight with my group as well, because yeah, I view it as important, just to learn, and just to have someone who is a partner, so we could start a team like together, so we could like advertise everyone in the team and make it like that much easier. That would be really cool. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a question about a specific stream you had, because I didn't get a chance to see it, but I think it was relative to having a real talk about streaming, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes. What were the highlights from that? What were you talking about?
So the highlights of that was basically talking about the landmarks and the pitfalls of streaming, like kind of what we talked about a little bit earlier.
Okay.
How I was kind of giving a lot of streamers insight into my experiences over the course of 2 years, because I think what a lot of people didn't understand is, like, when they started streaming, they expected, and I'd heard this complaint a lot from people, hey, I've been in your community for 4 months now, and when I turned on my stream, I thought you said people are going to come to my stream. And I think, and I got that, from a couple of people. And I think my thing was this, right? It's like, I view this as like almost like a fraternity. You're going to want to support the people who you like. Just because they wave the 33 flag doesn't mean 15 people are going to come to your stream. They're going to come to stream if you like you. Now, you're a part of a community, so you could talk to these people and, hang out, become friends with them. That's how you do it. So it was a real talk on streaming, a real talk on answering people's questions on, like, how do you grow bigger? What place am I at right now? Why lurking is so important to a streamer. Because I think, like, I talked about a lot of stuff that, other people sometimes may view as like, oh, well, he just wants people to lurk or whatever. Well, the fact of the matter is, lurking is going to get you to those next levels where you could actually meet new people. Like, at the end of the day, if you have 57 lurkers and you have 57 people there, that 58th person might be a person who wants to talk and hang out, who you could talk to and vibe with and learn from. And I think that's the importance of lurking that people don't quite understand. A lot of the times is like, lurking is very, very helpful for streamers in like different effects. And it's not us begging. We're not going to beg for you to lurk or anything like that. But I'm just letting you know, if you do want to support a streamer and you don't want to pay for a sub, which is completely fine. No one needs to pay for anything. Simply just muting our tab, leaving us on the screen. That's the easiest way you can support the stream if you want, Play Valorant, play whatever you want. But if you do want to support, that's a way to support. And I think, all these types of conversations, they're, sometimes people like kind of frown upon, but I think it's important that, streamers of all sizes learn about and know about, and I have no problem with being the bad guy at times and talking about it.
Mhm.
So that's mainly what the conversation was about, and I was answering a lot of questions about like streaming in general, what we basically talked about,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Real talk.
Yeah.
All right. Last question in regards to streaming. I ask everyone this question. This is for the people. So how does it feel to be famous?
I'm not famous, but okay, I get what you're saying. Though I get what you're saying. It's really, really, really cool. And I think this is one of the biggest things about streaming. It's like, when you're streaming,
Mhm.
in a way, everything kind of revolves around you when you're streaming because everyone's talking to you. That's ultimately how it goes. Sure, people are talking to each other, and that's great. But at the end of the day, when you say something, X amount of people are hearing it most likely. And I think that's a real cool situation. If there are a lot of people who they need to get a lot off their chest, they need to say a lot, etc. So I think that's a real special moment about quote unquote being famous. I think like the cool thing is like seeing the brand deals and stuff and be like, yo, like this brand kind of cool, but then they're not really like, I'm not going to advertise for them because I get nothing out of it. Like, it's one of those things where it's cool reading these things for sure. But yeah, like, I don't know. Famous is famous, even though I'm not famous. Yeah. Yeah.
I love everyone's reactions to that, so it's all good. Thank you for the explanation too. Okay, so briefly touching up on Valorant, just to see your thoughts. Favorite agent and least favorite agent?
Favorite agent is, okay, so favorite agent in comp games or favorite agent on stream?
On stream.
Because,
like,
okay,
what you like or who you like.
Raze is my favorite agent on stream. Raze is super fun to play and to watch if you could like jump around and like have fun. It's like a fast character. If I'm playing comp, I'm a Sova main. I'm gonna play Sova, but it's a very slow play style, and a lot of the times you don't get the entry frag because all you do is you shoot an arrow and then people play off of your arrow.
Yeah.
But I'm a Raze main on stream. Least favorite agent, I would have to say right now is Yoru. Yoru's bad. Yoru's not. I mean, they're reworking him, so I'm very interested to see the rework on him. But Yoru's, I don't see a lot of benefit to playing as Yoru right now. That's personally me. Yeah.
Okay. How about for guns? Favorite gun? Or, no, let's say best gun versus worst gun.
Phantom's my best gun. Worst gun is the Judge. Because everyone judges me 24/7. Like, I have in-houses, and it's awful. I do this thing called Swollerant on Thursdays, and basically I do a series of weightlifting punishments every time I die to certain things. So one of the things I do is I do like military presses with weights, free weights, and every single time I die to a shotgun, I'll do 5 military presses. The problem with that is I in-house it. So my entire community just runs at me the entire game with judges. Yeah. So I end up having to do like 50 military presses every game, and it makes me like, my body dies inside and outside. So there you go.
All right.
And the Judge is OP. The Judge is so overpowered. It's so good. It's such a strong. What was your top rank? You're good. I was watching you play the other day. You're good.
Oh, I don't rank, honestly. I think the highest I've gotten was gold, but I don't like to rank.
You're clean. You're really good though.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. I'm a washed up diamond. Very washed up diamond. I haven't played comp in like 4 seasons, something like that. Yeah, I'm good with not playing. Our mentals are better without Valorant comp. Mentals are better.
Fun ratings.
Exactly. And I think like you have the same vibe as me, where like, people want to talk and like hang out. Like I liken my streaming style to like Valorant or just chatting with a Valorant on the side, like Valorant
Yes.
gameplay on the side. That's how I liken it too, and I think you're very similar to me
Yeah,
in that.
I
So
would agree.
yeah, that's literally how we are. So like, no one wants to see me going like this the entire time. Like,
Yeah.
hey, like no one wants to see that. So we're good. We're good.
Okay. Favorite skin set?
Reaver.
I like it. Okay.
I don't
okay.
even own the Reaver, and
Oh.
Reaver. I wish I owned the Reaver. The Reaver is pay to win. That's pay to win right there. It's so good and it's so clean. It looks so good.
Really is.
You have it?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
Well,
god. I'm
the
jealous.
Vandal, yeah.
Do you okay? Do you
feeling.
buy all the skins, or do you buy like the packages? Or you just buy like the a la carte skins?
Well, previously I got the whole package for the second glitch pop because it
Okay.
had both the Phantom, Op, and the Vandal, so
Okay.
that was a steal. And then I got the Forsaken bundle, but
Oh,
after that was just like individual a la carte.
got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a la carte. I'm a la carte in that because I only use like 3 guns on stream. I just use like the Vandal, Phantom, and Classic or Frenzy. That's it.
For sure. Reaver though.
Yeah, the Reaver's sexy. It's a good gun.
All right, and lastly, rank your maps from favorite to least.
Okay. I would go Haven number 1. It's not a common pick generally.
True.
Split number 2. Icebox number 3. Ascent number 4.
Mm-hmm.
I'm missing Bind, I'm missing Breeze, and I'm missing Fracture, right?
Yeah.
Bind 5, Breeze 6, Fracture 7.
In that order, yep.
Yeah, in that order, yeah.
Yeah, Fracture is known to be last for a lot of people.
Oh
so
yeah.
I see that.
Oh yeah. I don't have fun with Fracture at all. I don't. Get me out of those games ASAP. Get me out.
Yeah. Why Haven though for first?
Because I'm a Sova main, so you could wall like a million different areas in Haven. Like literally you could wall, you shoot your arrow like anywhere in Garage, you could shoot your arrow. I know all the spam points for Haven. My win rate in comp for like Haven is like 80% or something like that. It's crazy.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's just really I'm really comfortable on that map.
Alrighty, so that was the Valorant talk. At this point, we're coming to the end of the podcast where I will ask some random questions. This
Okay.
is a chance for those in chat to ask questions themselves, which I will read to you. So all you
Okay.
guys have to do is tag me and ask your question. Yeah. Alright,
Okay.
so let's start things off with what is your greatest pet peeve?
Eating with your mouth open. I hate people who eat with their mouth open. I don't want to see what type of food you're eating. I don't need to see you processing your food as it goes down your throat. I'm good. That's it.
Okay. What's your skincare routine? From Jamato.
Aveeno hand lotion.
No hand lotion.
No joke. I don't put any cleanser or anything on my face. Aveeno hand lotion on my face. That's it.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, it's weird, I know, but that's it.
Hey, if it works, it works.
If it works indeed.
Greatest fear.
Greatest fear to me, it's actually kind of crazy because I love to swim and stuff. Greatest fear for me is swimming in the open ocean, not being able to see what's below me, but knowing there are sharks around. Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Logan mentioned definitely ask him about how he feels about me and Jess' allergies.
Okay, what he's referring to is him and Jess have had a donation war in my chat, the gifted sub war.
Oh, okay.
In my chat over this month, and they sneeze way too much because they always give way too many subs. So I would say to them, thank you very much, Logan and Jess, and I'm buying you a year's supply of Claritin so you don't ever have to do that again. There you go.
So like, sneeze is like a joke of accidentally Pressing.
Yeah,
Okay.
pressing the donate. Yes, pressing the gifted
Yeah,
subs.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, I sneezed. Oh, Logan has gifted 10 subs.
Yeah.
Oh, oops, I sneezed. Jess has gifted 11 subs. Like that type of stuff. Yeah.
Got it. It's
Yeah.
like slipping and tripping, but sneezing
Exactly.
for sure.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Okay. Favorite food?
Sushi. Japanese sushi.
Sushi.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
How about favorite quote?
Just win, baby, win.
Where's
There
that
you
from?
go. That's from the late great Raiders coach. Forgot his name though, but yes, yeah, late great Jerry. Not Jerry. It's not Jerry Jones. Is it Jerry Jones? No, no, no. Oh, you know what's a good one too? From Jerry Jones. He's the Dallas Cowboys football coach,
Yeah.
or not football owner. Excuse me.
Okay.
He says the best publicity is bad publicity.
Bad
Yes.
publicity.
Yes. Or the best way to market yourself is bad publicity. Yeah.
What would you consider as your greatest accomplishment in life and greatest failure or regret? 2 questions.
Greatest accomplishment in life. My greatest accomplishment in life, I would have to say, one of my greatest accomplishment in life. That's a really hard question here. Because I feel like I've accomplished so little of my total goals. My greatest accomplishment of life right now, at least the first thing that comes to mind, at least,
Yeah.
is being able to stream for 2 years and having a very, very, very solid community that I'm really proud of. I think like meeting everybody, it could have went like 50,000 different ways as far as my community, and I could have just quit because no one ever came. But the fact that like people did stop by and say hello and hang out now, and it's a more consistent thing, that is like one of the greatest accomplishments of my life because I never thought I could do that. My greatest failure in life, it would honestly probably have to be something around the lines of not taking school very seriously.
Uh-huh.
over my high school and college careers, more so high school than college, but yeah, definitely maybe not taking school as seriously as I should have. I think that's really important.
Fair answer. In your description, you put just a guy in a big world full of characters. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, sure. I'm not a special person in any means of the world. I'm just a normal average guy, I think. Sure, I have my likes, my dislikes, my positives, my negatives. I have all that, sure. But I'm not any different than you, any different than, Wooden Dog, Ronan, Jamato, everybody in chat right now, and it's something though that like, when you go on Twitch, it's full of interesting people. Like it really is. Like you even have like the Dr. Disrespects, even though he's not on Twitch anymore, but like, the Dr. Disrespects, the Ninjas, the XQCs, all these humongous characters and humongous people. And I'm just here doing my thing too, and I think that's something that I really just wanted to characterize there is like, hey, like I'm not them, I'm me. I'm different in my own way, but I'm average. That's me. So that's it.
Alrighty. Down to the last 3 questions. So what was your first impression of me?
Ooh, good question. Honestly, I thought you were like me. I 100%. I came to your stream. I don't know if you remember this. I came to your stream like a month ago, and I gave you that story about Linda, how I was gonna meet you that one day, and I just sat there and just listened to your vibe because we know a mutual friend in Kev, Dreamy Kev.
Yes.
And Dreamy Kev had
Right.
recommended you to me. So he's like, check out this guy. So I was like, all right, I'll check him out. Sure. So I checked out your stream and I was like, this guy's like me. Like literally, I was like, because like you're playing Valorant, but then like you were literally just talking 3/4 of the time, and I'm like, I know for a fact there's probably some games where you don't even know if you won or lost the round because you're talking. That's like me. That's literally like me. So I was like, holy crap, this guy's exactly like me. And then I saw your YouTube vid
Mhm.
that one time about, I think you were going to you went to a rave with your
Oh
friends.
yeah, a trip.
And I was like, damn, like this guy's creating some good content. I want to get to know this guy a little bit better. So that was pretty much my impression of you at the beginning.
Sure. Thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Ooh, a question from Jamato. If you could redo your streaming career, how would you do it differently?
If I could redo my streaming career, the first thing I would do is I would actually engross myself into Twitch before I started streaming. Meaning I'd become a part of people's communities. I would get to know other streamers, I would get to know other communities. So you don't go through the stressful thing of having 0 people in your stream the entire time. I think I didn't understand the streaming culture. I didn't understand what chat's interested in. I didn't understand any of that. I came into everything blind. So the fact that I had no mentors coming into streaming, I didn't know what I was doing. I watched YouTube videos and I tried to emulate what the YouTube videos were doing. Hell, I thought Commander Root and all them were people. I literally used to say hello to Commander Root every single day. Thank you for lurking my channel. Every single day I would do that. And I knew nothing about it. So engrossing myself into Twitch, becoming more familiar. I thought I knew Twitch by just watching one big streamer, but realistically, you gotta learn it from like watching smaller streamers so you could understand the hardship that goes with everything, understanding all of that, and asking questions, quite frankly, to people. And so that's the one big thing I would do different. Is I would definitely come into it not blind, completely not blind, doing nothing. That's what I would do different.
All right. Well, from Logan, just wanted to tell you that he has a lot of respect for you. So,
I appreciate that.
message,
Logan. Appreciate that.
rather than a question. Likewise,
Appreciate that.
I do respect you a lot too. I just want to put it out there.
Oh, I think the respect is mutual between us.
Thank you.
Sure.
Right. So, with whatever time you have nowadays, who would you say are the top 5 streamers that you find yourself watching?
That I found myself watching. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So number one streamer that QQobes33 watches right now. Is this like community based, or is it more like because I lurk in a lot of people's channels.
Yeah.
But like, is this like actually like I watch and I try to like formulate my content better? Is that kind of what we're talking about more so?
It goes both ways. Like whoever you spend a lot of time watching in general.
Okay. So a couple of the people that I watch a lot is Summit 1G. Still, I watch him a lot. He's streaming right now, 12K viewers. I watch Asmongold a lot. I like the way he does his long form content, long form speeches. Ludwig is another big one. Ludwig is actually someone who I want to emulate my stream most like his. I really like his culture. I really like his dynamic. I really like all he brings to it. He brings a lot of energy, but at the same time, he brings a lot of realness. And I think his community emulates that greatly. I really like his community. Ludwig's another one. I would say, who else do I watch a lot? The other person who I started watching a lot of recently is Sushi Dragon. The Sushi Dragon. Basically, he's like this guy who wears like all sorts of devices on him, and he like he does this really, I think it's like cutting edge type stuff, but he has some really good transitions. Every time someone subs, he'll like breathe fire like this, and then fire will come out in like different angles. It's really cool. He's he's into some pretty cool stuff. So I gotta say the Sushi Dragon's actually really, really cool. And lastly, I'm gonna have to say XQC. Even though I can't stand him at times, I really can't stand XQC at times. He drives me crazy. His voice drives me crazy. I watch it because I love the motivation and I love just seeing how he deals with chat. I really love seeing that, and I really love the energy he gives off. I actually will generally try to watch XQC right before I go live so I can kind of feed off of his energy a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Those were the 5. All right. Last question from me. So using your connection, who would you like to see as a guest in the future on this podcast, and why?
Okay. The person I would like to see on this podcast next. Let's see here. Okay. I would say it would probably have to be. It's Kronzy. Have you ever heard of her or no?
Yes, Matt recently started following her recently, maybe within the last 2 weeks.
Okay. It's Kronzy has been a dear friend of mine for a very long time. I actually met her IRL as well. She had her own Twitch meetup in LA, and I actually went to that, hung out with her, and she's like one of my first streamer friends, one of my first. And she's been super cool, super down to earth. I think you would get along great with her, and she's really talkative and really friendly. So I would say it's Kronzy for sure.
Okay, thank you for the suggestion.
Of course.
Definitely happened. Alrighty, with that being said, this concludes the podcast. What are your plans right after this?
Right after this, I am going to eat dinner. And then after eating dinner, yeah, I know, right? Well, okay, wait, Wilson. So you stream around the time I stream. When do you eat dinner?
I feel like I eat a late lunch, and I try to find time whether it's on stream or after to eat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I end stream around 10. I generally will try to eat a late lunch like you, because I'll try to eat like at 3 or something.
Yes.
Because I start stream at 5. So then I'm like, but then like from 5 to 10, usually towards that 8 or 9 period, I stop talking about food completely because I start getting hungry on stream. So I'm like, crap. So like I literally I'll wait till 10:15 and then eat. And it's like, it's not the healthy way of eating, but I'll just, you got to do what you got to do.
Yes. All right.
You're like, yes.
Agreed. I'm going to look for food right after this for sure.
Sure. Okay. And then, yeah.
So I will close out this portion for YouTube, and then I'll let you go. Do your thing.
All right. Thank you so much again. Hey, Wilson, I appreciate you. Your community's freaking amazing. I really admire all the work that you have put in so far. I see the work on a daily basis. And if Wilson's community, if you're in here, I'm sure, just know that this man don't take him for granted. He's creating amazing content on all platforms. So please, please, please support him to the best of his business. My community too. Please support Wilson to the best of your abilities, because this guy is on the grind, and I have a distinct admiration for him because he's great at what he does. He's great.
Thank you. It really means a lot.
No problem.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right, folks. This has been the Chang Gang podcast episode 58 featuring Corbin, aka QQobes33. Thank you so much for dedicating so much time for this, cause we hit over the 3-hour mark, which is really cool. It went by super fast. Thank you to chat for being here, for supporting, showing so much love. Remember, !guest, a direct link to Cobe's channel. He is also a streamer. Please do follow and support him, especially if you're from my community. Much love. Do you have any last words for everyone who's going to be watching, or for those who are here now?
Hey, just spread the awesome vibes of love as me and Wilson do on a regular basis. Just know you make the world a better place if you just say what's up, say hello, no negativity, all positivity. That's it.
All right. Love that. Thank you so much once again, guys. Take it easy. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you haven't already, and hit that subscribe button. I welcome you all to the Chang Gang with open arms. This video will be out within the next few days on YouTube. Note that episode 59 will be coming soon. All right, take it easy. Peace.